The crown prince of Beijing's elite circle fell for a disabled but determined pregnant woman. He was dead set on ditching me, the little princess of Shanghai's high society, bound by family alliances. I arranged medical care for her legs and assisted her childbirth, but tragically, she succumbed to postpartum depression and leaped from a building with the newborn in her arms. The crown prince controls the resources of Beijing and Shanghai's elite circles. He took over my family's company, seized our assets, and sent my entire family to prison. This is the price for destroying my love. Now we're even. The crown prince publicly proposed to a 38-year-old disabled pregnant woman. Years later, I walked over to the northeast young master in the corner, draped in a mink coat and sporting a thick gold chain around his neck, perched on his lap. I traced his Adam's apple with my finger and commanded, "Kiss me, harder." In the private room, Lu Yongchen held out an engagement ring as he proposed to the woman in the wheelchair. Their friends looked utterly astonished. He glanced at me with a hint of awkwardness. After all, I'm the one who's actually engaged to Lu Yongchen. Proposing to someone else right in front of me was a total slap in the face. When I opened my eyes again, someone tried to smooth things over. Lu Yongchen, stop joking around. Yan Yan is right here. Joking is one thing, but some lines shouldn't be crossed, especially when it's about a 38-year-old pregnant woman carrying her ex-husband's child. Apologize to Yan Yan now. She's not one to hold a grudge over this. The social circle hierarchy is too steep. Some things are universally understood without being spoken. Lu Yongchen may flirt with other women, but he would never bestow the position of the Lu family's matriarch upon someone outside our social stratum. 1. Everyone knows that strategic alliances between powerful families are essential to maximizing collective interests, yet Lu Yongchen fails to grasp this fundamental principle. He stubbornly fell in love with Su Wanqing, a 38-year-old woman with paralyzed legs, yet stunningly beautiful and strong-willed. Lu Yongchen responded to others' advice with a look of utter disdain. I'm not joking. I love Wanqing, and no one can stop me. Zhu Yan, I told you long ago that I don't love you. Don't force me. I'll never change my mind. He looked at me with cold eyes. 3 sentences meant to make me back off. I was dazed for a long moment and didn't respond to him. Su Wanqing pushed him away with an unyielding expression, saying, I won't be the other woman. Lu Yongchen, stop fooling around and apologize to Miss Zhu right now. In the face of Lu Yongchen's ardent pursuit, Su Wanqing maintained a stance of refusal from beginning to end. She said she knew her place very well. She was fully aware of the engagement between Lu Yongchen and me. She despises homewreckers more than anything. That's why Lu Yongchen pulled this stunt, to clear her name as the other woman. He called off our engagement right in front of me, just to make promises to Su Wanqing. Zhu Yan, our engagement is off. Is that clear? Stop standing in the way of my marriage to Wanqing. All eyes turned to me. Someone even chimed in kindly. Yan Yan, don't take Yongchen seriously. He's just throwing a tantrum. Rest assured, no one can call off your engagement. Forget about him. I'll take you somewhere else for fun. The connections between major families are intricately woven. Everyone seated here shares some degree of familial connection. No one wants to see contracts and partnerships that were already finalized get cancelled because of the conflict between me and Lu Yongchen. Someone was trying to pull me away. My expression cleared as I came to my senses, shaking off my friend's hand. I slowly rose to my feet and turned to face Lu Yongchen. Fine, I agree to call off the engagement. From now on, there will be no further connection between the Zhu family and you, Lu Yongchen. As soon as the words were spoken, everyone was left stunned. Lu Yongchen, on the other hand, breathed a sigh of relief. He added, this decision is for the best. For both of us, marriage is the end of love, and if we stay together, we'll only be heading for the grave. Yeah, he's absolutely right. Being with him would be a one-way ticket to the grave, but getting together with Su Wanqing would just lead him to a different kind of grave. How could someone like Su Wanqing, proud but penniless, ever hope to control such a powerful family dynasty? In my past life, I was so weak-willed that I couldn't even endure being kept like a pet. In the cutthroat world of wealthy families, the weak are just waiting to be devoured. I glanced at Su Wanqing, who was barely concealing her smug expression. She immediately composed herself and said, Miss Zhu, I didn't steal your lover. I nodded. Of course, trash like Lu Yongchen belongs in the dumpster, and you're the perfect match for him. Su Wanqing's face turned pale. Lu Yongchen frowned. Zhu Yan, why turn bitter just because your love is unrequited? I sneered. Love you. For your fickleness or your blindness. Don't make me laugh. Lu Yongchen, you think you're worthy of my affection. With that, I walked over to the northeast heir who had been silent in the corner, constantly ostracized by both the Beijing and Shanghai social circles. He lifted his gaze to meet mine, his deep-set eyes slightly narrowed. As the light shifted, the massive gold chain around his neck nearly blinded me. I still stretched out my long legs and straddled him. I tilted his chin upward. Jiang Feng, kiss me hard. His eyes widened in astonishment. Everyone around us held their breath, watching us intently. Jiang Feng asked in bewilderment, "Are you out of your mind?" The entire private room was instantly filled with a thick northeastern accent. It drew disapproving frowns from the elite scions of Beijing and Shanghai's high society, yet to me, that familiar voice felt incredibly reassuring and comforting. In my past life, this man was willing to squander his entire fortune just to bring Lu Yangchen down with him, yet I had barely exchanged 2 words with him. Still, I became the one he loved most. I laughed through glistening eyes and pressed him. "Marry me, will you or won't you?" He pressed his thin lips together, his handsome face unreadable, then his mouth captured mine. A tearing force surged through my mouth. His large hands pinned my waist firmly against him. As he stroked her, Jiang Feng's collection of gold chains jangled noisily. He didn't release his bite until the metallic taste of blood filled my mouth. The moment he let go, he gave a lingering lick to the corner of my lips. Much like a husky would, "Just wait until I come to your house with the betrothal gifts." He glanced at the ring on Lu Yangchen's hand and clicked his tongue disapprovingly. "That cheap trinket isn't worth anything. Just wait, I'll get you a much nicer one." With that, he turned to leave the room, but after just 2 steps, he doubled back and planted a kiss on my cheek. Then he pointed a finger at me and warned, "No takebacks. Even if you change your mind, I'll still sweep you off your feet and make you mine. You started this." Jiang Feng's betrothal gifts were transported from northeast China to the south via dozens of helicopters. The Shanghai and Beijing social circles generally don't mix much with the northeast crowd. That's why none of the old money heirs in my circle have ever married into northeast families. I suppose I'm the first, breaking down the barriers between the Shanghai and northeast social scenes. That's how I witnessed such an extravagant spectacle. Gold bars were hauled home, crate after crate stacked high, cash was carried into the house, sack after sack slung over shoulders. Property deeds and luxury car keys were presented to my grandfather on trays, one platter after another. Jiang Feng finally succumbed to the southern heat, shedding his $1 million mink coat and changing into a crisp, custom-tailored suit. He dropped to both knees before my grandfather and declared loudly, "Wishing you good health, elder. Your future grandson-in-law has come to ask for your granddaughter's hand. I beg for your blessing to grant me the honor of cherishing her for the rest of our lives." 3 resounding kowtows. Jiang Feng performed them with unwavering conviction. I stood frozen beside Grandpa, my mind in turmoil. Grandpa stared wide-eyed at the scene before us, his hands trembling uncontrollably. I tried to calm him, saying, "Grandpa, it's no big deal, stay calm." Grandpa gritted his teeth in frustration. He had countless reservations, but ultimately, he couldn't ignore all the grievances I'd suffered at Lu Yangchen's hands, nor could he overlook Jiang Feng's impeccable manners and conduct. Across all elite circles of Beijing and Shanghai, Jiang Feng stood unmatched, the first to present such an extravagant marriage proposal. Jiang Feng was the first person to start kowtowing with such dramatic thuds right off the bat. After a long moment, Grandpa finally managed to convince himself, "It's a bit rough around the edges, but if you can truly accept it, I suppose I can't really say anything more. Go ahead and get married. Once you're married, live well together. And don't get involved in any shady business." That evening, while Grandfather had someone tally the betrothal gifts, my household registration booklet was discreetly delivered to Jiang Feng. Early the next morning, before dawn had broken, I was still fast asleep. Jiang Feng burst into my room, scooped me right out of bed, and bundled me into the stretch limousine. "Let's go to the Civil Affairs Bureau. We're getting our marriage license." In a complete daze, I nestled into Jiang Feng's arms. I still had no idea what was going on. I heard 2 distinct gulps. Then lips met mine, and my body melted like liquid. I pushed weakly against them, my strength all but gone. When they finally released me, clarity returned. With a pained expression and slightly reddened eyes, he cried out, "Darling, I'm so happy." Fuming, I slapped him across the face. "What are you doing? We're not even married yet." His handsome face froze, just when I thought he was about to lose his temper too. Yet he cradled my hand as if it were a precious treasure. His voice trembled slightly. "Darling, does your hand hurt? For every action there's an equal reaction. Such delicate hands must be stinging. Next time you feel like hitting me, just say the word. I'll do it myself." I froze. Then I watched him raise his hand and slap himself hard across the face. "Darling, I was wrong. But I just couldn't help it. I was terrified my bride-to-be would slip away. Once we get the marriage license, everything I do will be legitimate. Just forgive me this once, when we get home." I'll kneel on the washboard, kneel on broken glass, let you whip me. I won't make a single sound. The moment we held the marriage certificates, Jiang Feng burst into tears. Tears streamed down his face. Darling, I've let you down. I know damn well this windfall would never have come my way if that fool Lu Yangchen hadn't been blind as a bat. Darling, don't you worry. Now that you're with me, I won't let you suffer even the slightest hardship. Whatever that Beijing big shot can give you, your Northeast man will give you twice as much. This competitive, confrontational, and prideful man from the Northeast, upon learning the wedding date of Lu Yangchen and Su Wanqing, immediately scheduled our engagement for the exact same day without a second thought. Lu Yangchen reserved the entire top floor of the Empress Hotel for Su Wanqing's engagement banquet venue. Jiang Feng then booked all the floors of the Empress Hotel except the top floor for my engagement banquet. Lu Yangchen selected 18 luxury cars for Su Wanqing to use in the bridal procession. With a grand gesture, Jiang Feng had all the luxury cars owned by the Northeast's Crown Prince's Club transported to the south, a total of 108 world-class limited edition sports cars. Lu Yangchen had a one-of-a-kind engagement diamond ring custom-made for Su Wanqing. Jiang Feng rallied the entire mining industry in Northeast China to pick out the world's largest pink diamond for me, bigger than a pigeon egg. Everyone says Jiang Feng did it to help me save face. Lu Yangchen found it all quite amusing when he heard, "What else can you expect from a nouveau riche besides throwing money around? Engagement banquets are meant to leave a good impression on both families, but his tasteless display is just tacky and vulgar. The man Zhu Yan chose in a fit of pique is clearly beneath her. She'll live to regret this decision." Surprisingly, Jiang Feng remained uncharacteristically composed after hearing Lu Yangchen's remarks. He simply devoted every waking moment to finalizing the engagement banquet arrangements. When the day of the engagement finally arrived, Lu Yangchen's fleet of 18 luxury cars trailed behind the Northeast Princeling's motorcade, their customized front ends getting awkwardly squeezed into unrecognizable shapes. It wasn't that Lu Yangchen's drivers didn't want to overtake, but their class of luxury vehicles stood no chance against world-class limited edition supercars. Within the same brand hierarchy, the 10 million yuan model naturally dominates the 1 million yuan version with inherent superiority. After all, how could the 18 hired drivers in those cars dare to casually parade themselves before the 108 Northeastern Princelings? The Princelings couldn't care less about a few scratches and dents on their cars. Their only concern was whether they could help their brother Jiang Feng save face. The two groups then went their separate ways to their respective venues. Midway through our engagement ceremony, a torrential downpour began outside the glass windows. I was still processing the sudden change when I saw Lu Yangchen escorting Su Wanqing down from the terrace, her makeup streaked by the rain. The bride and groom looked especially disheveled next to Jiang Feng and me. The handful of guests at the Lu family's engagement party also hung their heads in the presence of the big shots from the Northeast and Shanghai circles. That's when I realized not a single member of the Lu family had shown up for Lu Yangchen's banquet. A rooftop wedding is romantic and all, but yours is so shabby even the heavens can't bear to watch. Imperfect weddings are the most memorable. Just like how some people are drawn to flawed individuals, indeed, some people not only prefer flawed partners but also enjoy becoming young stepdaddies catering to older women. This is sarcasm originating from Shanghai and Northeast social circles. Su Wanqing's face flushed crimson, refusing to lift her head. Lu Yangchen shielded Su Wanqing in his embrace, glaring at me as he snapped, "Shut your mouths. How could a bunch of profit-obsessed scum like you ever understand true love? Humph. People like us wouldn't know the first thing about true love. We prioritize profit above all else. We place the utmost importance on arranged marriages between powerful families." So when Lu Yangchen chose Su Wanqing over me, the Shanghai and Beijing social circles had already started giving him the cold shoulder. With so many children in the Lu family, Lu Yangchen wouldn't even rank without the Zhu family's backing. The fact that the Lu family didn't attend Lu Yangchen and Su Wanqing's engagement party speaks volumes. Back then, the Northeast circle couldn't get close to the Shanghai and Beijing circles, mostly because those circles didn't know the Northeast's true standing and looked down on them a bit. Our engagement banquet finally made the Beijing and Shanghai socialites recognize what the Northeast crowd is capable of. Too, when you've got real influence, coexistence comes naturally. So now, all those young elites who used to run with Lu Yangchen are jumping ship to our side, partly to distance themselves from Lu Yangchen. The second reason is to curry favor with the Northeast's princelings and social elite. Showing me respect means showing Jiang Feng respect, and showing Jiang Feng respect naturally means showing respect to the entire Northeast circle. My marriage alliance with Jiang Feng is just the first step in integrating the Northeast circle into the Beijing and Shanghai circles. Lu Yangchen's engagement banquet came to an abrupt and hasty end. The princesses and princes of Beijing, Shanghai, and Northeast social circles partied wildly with us until late into the night. It wasn't until the next day that I heard about Lu Yangchen being disowned and kicked out of the Lu family by the patriarch. Along with that, his position as CEO of the Lu family's company had also been stripped by the old man well in advance. Lu Yangchen has effectively lost his voice in the Lu family. His friends all say, without Zhu Yan, Lu Yangchen is just as crippled as Su Wanqing. If he's after true love without the financial cushion, let's see how long that lasts. Taking care of a disabled fiancé while preparing to become a father, how could anyone be so blind as to abandon Zhu Yan? Whenever I heard these remarks, I always worried that Jiang Feng, with his fiery temper, would be upset, but he just said, "Why would I be upset? I'm just your backup plan." I totally get Lu Yangchen's lovesick mentality. I'm the same way. The moment I stepped inside, seriously, babe, even if you were disabled and carrying someone else's child, I'd still marry you if you'd have me. After saying that, he pulled me onto his lap. What a passionate tangle of lips and limbs. Bang bang bang. Between ragged breaths, I asked when he first fell for me. He said, "From the very first moment I laid eyes on you." Their Northeast clique has its own business ventures and exclusive network of connections. They're nothing but nouveau riches, practically drowning in money. After being snubbed by Shanghai and Beijing social circles, he still clung to our group like a leech, just to steal an extra glance at me every day. He'd been working up the courage to confess his feelings for years, but I'm already betrothed to Lu Yangchen. He was already looked down upon by the high society ladies of Shanghai and Beijing circles, and he didn't want to grovel and make me despise him even more. Lu Yangchen must be blind. How could some stuck-up, severely disabled pregnant woman ever compare to my Princess Yan Yan? Could her waist possibly be as slender as yours? Could her lips possibly be as soft as yours? Every word he spoke was a straightforward declaration of love. He praised my beauty, gentleness, generosity, intelligence, and thoughtfulness, his eyes roaming over me with eager anticipation and longing. He looked just like a hungry husky begging for food. Darling, I can't hold back anymore. I really can't. You have no idea how close I came to losing control when you sat on my lap in the private room that day. After I got back, I searched everywhere for photos of you in public. I held onto your picture and couldn't sleep all night. His chin rested against my collarbone, looking utterly pitiful. I clenched my hands, my cheeks already flushed crimson, barely maintaining my composure. I gently rested my hand on his neck and slowly traced circles. I swallowed hard and said, "Well, you know, this is my office. You can't possibly do this here." His voice grew soft and delicate. He deliberately toned down his northeastern accent, using a soft, bubbly tone. "How about it, my little princess, my sweet Yan Yan? I want to stay right here." My heart hammered against my ribs. His restlessness finally wore down my resolve. My fingers moved to undo his collar, but he just ripped his shirt open. Tiny buttons went flying into the air, one after another. A few of them bounced against my face, stinging a little. When it happened for the third time, someone burst into the office. Jiang Feng, who had been working diligently, instantly pulled over a piece of clothing from beside him to cover me upon hearing the door open. Then he shielded me in his embrace, tucked snugly against him. Only my eyes were left uncovered. I saw Lu Yangchen, who had suddenly burst into the room. His slightly reddened eyes were filled with disbelief. "What is he doing here?" Jiang Feng furrowed his brows, retracting all the tenderness he had shown moments before. He demanded, "Lu Yangchen, if you're sick, go to the damn hospital. Get the hell out of here." Lu Yangchen was holding a cake in his hand. It was my favorite brand. The cake fell to the ground and shattered into a messy pulp. He didn't even take a step back. Instead, his voice turned icy as he rebuked, "Zhu Yan, how could you really be with Jiang Feng? Lu Yangchen is so ridiculous. Jiang Feng and I are engaged. What's the big deal about doing these things?" I can't believe it actually surprised Lu Yangchen. Jiang Feng didn't hold back at all, cursing, "Are you fucking jealous that I have such a delicate and soft wife? Too late for that now, isn't it? Listen up, Yan Yan is mine. Get the hell back to your crippled pregnant woman. Don't make me lay hands on you right now." Jiang Feng hurled every object within reach on the table at Lu Yangchen. Every single projectile found its mark. If Jiang Feng hadn't been holding me in his arms, and didn't want Lu Yangchen to catch even a glimpse of me, he probably would have rushed over to throw punches. Lu Yangchen was a man of decorum. He'd always considered brawling and cursing beneath him, so he could only storm off, seething with resentment. What's he so worked up about? This outcome was exactly what he wanted. After Lu Yangchen left, Jiang Feng promptly closed the door. He seemed to come back with a temper. Then came the outburst, venting his anger through tears. "Sorry, love, I'm just so damn angry right now. Who does Lu Yangchen think he is? Barging in here like that, even I know to knock before entering your office. I swear I could strangle that bastard. I don't understand why he's so upset. His tears are so fake." It felt like he was putting on an act just to keep me from calling him out for being too rough. Afterward, I was completely drained of energy. Jiang Feng went through the trouble of bathing me and wiping me down, finally cleaning off all that sticky drool. I felt exhausted, yet I couldn't fall asleep. I casually mentioned, "Why is Lu Yangchen here?" And Jiang Feng immediately started digging into his recent situation for me. Turns out, Lu Yangchen and Su Wanqing haven't been doing well. He came to me hoping to get back together. Lu Yangchen's been kicked out of the Beijing elite circle. His family cut him off, and now he's renting a tiny studio with Su Wanqing for just $1,000 a month. Su Wanqing never liked physical intimacy with her ex-husband due to her disability, and after getting pregnant, she wouldn't let him touch her at all. Her ex couldn't stand her constant aloofness, which led to their divorce. Now, Lu Yangchen is also fed up with her standoffish behavior. Besides, Lu Yangchen used to be surrounded by stunning young beauties. Faced with a 38-year-old heavily pregnant woman, it's no wonder he's lost interest. Now that he's broke and living a low-quality life, Lu Yangchen clearly regrets his engagement to Su Wanqing and wants to get back with Yan Yan. When Jiang Feng shared this gossip with me, he was clearly displeased. 3. I coaxed him. "He's ugly, short, dumb, and pathetic. Nowhere near your league. Don't be upset." He shook his head and buried his face in my chest. "He's not that dumb. He had the sense to regret it and beg you to take him back." Just then, my phone started ringing. It was Lu Yangchen calling. I was about to hang up, but Jiang Feng swiftly tapped the answer button. The call connected, and Lu Yangchen's voice came through the line. "Yan Yan, I can overlook your little fling with that tasteless Jiang Feng, but you'll never measure up to Wanqing in my heart. I'll call off my engagement with Wanqing and marry you instead, so the Lu and Zhu families can maintain their alliance. But you must agree to let me get Wanqing's leg treated, find her the best maternity hospital, and ensure her child, even though it's not mine, inherits the Lu and Zhu family fortunes." Listening to this, I nearly burst out laughing. Jiang Feng narrowed his eyes, his expression turning serious. "That Jiang Feng guy is disgusting. I suggest you make things clear with him sooner rather than later. You'd better stay away from the whole Northeast crowd. I don't like that rustic vibe on you. So, if you have no further questions, have someone deliver an apartment and a car to Wutong Apartments first. I need to accompany Wanqing for her prenatal checkup later. And public transportation is quite inconvenient." I have no idea where he gets all that self-righteousness. All those demands seemed utterly ridiculous to me. I asked, "Lu Yangchen, what exactly would I gain from marrying you? I can't have your affection. I won't get your money. I'd have to raise your child, and I'd be funneling the Zhu family's wealth to a child who isn't even related to you by blood. What could I possibly be after?" He let out a cold laugh. "Because you love me, I'm speechless." Lu Yangchen's voice grew even more resolute. "Zhu Yan, I know you love me. You fell for me at first sight when we were young, seeing me as your sole anchor. I'm granting you the title of Mrs. Lu so you can gaze at me from afar. I won't lay a finger on you. I'm not as casual as Jiang Feng. My loyalty belongs solely to Wanqing. So, Zhu Yan, know when to be content, or you'll end up with nothing. I can't believe there are people in this world with such shameless audacity. Then you can't blame me for what happens next." I didn't even want to exchange a single word with Lu Yangchen, so I hung up the phone immediately. Then I said to Jiang Feng, "Didn't you say you were going to teach Lu Yangchen a lesson? Go ahead, I won't stop you." Jiang Feng's dislike for Lu Yangchen was nothing new. I didn't want the Zhu and Lu families to have a messy fallout, nor did I want Jiang Feng, who had just managed to enter this circle, to stir up trouble. So I had been holding Jiang back, preventing him from doing anything to Lu Yangchen. Jiang Feng also held a grudge over this matter. I always feel like I'm still hung up on old flames. Some old ties between aristocratic families ultimately become burdensome. Upon hearing my words, his face finally lit up with joy. "Are you really willing to let go?" I knew he had misunderstood. I didn't feel like explaining that I truly held no affection for Lu Yangchen. I just said, "Go ahead with it. Otherwise, if he makes a comeback, I might actually reconcile with him." I was deliberately needling him with sarcasm, but he took it to heart. His handsome face instantly turned stern. Clenching his jaw, he snarled viciously, "Daring to lust after my woman, I'll make sure he's 6 feet under." Jiang Feng's approach was downright brutal. After hearing Lu Yangchen's demands from me, he actually sent Lu a luxury apartment and a car. But these came with a try-before-you-buy arrangement. The upscale pentalone costs 2,000 a day. The luxury sports car costs 3,000 yuan per day. They used it for a full month, and the total cost came to around 150,000 yuan. There was also a live-in nanny for the house, costing 10,000 yuan per month. A chef who came daily to prepare nutritious meals cost 100,000 yuan per month. After a month of living the high life with Su Wanqing, Lu Yongchen found creditors lining up at his door demanding payment. Broke and desperate, Lu Yongchen tried calling me, but I'd already blocked his number, leaving him completely stranded with nowhere to turn. In the end, the police hauled him away and threw him straight behind bars. As Jiang Feng was fishing for compliments, his restless hands found their way around my waist. Darling, praise me now. I pursed my lips. Just 3 months in prison, getting Lu Yongchen blacklisted as a deadbeat, that's nothing. The Lu family could settle his debts with a snap of their fingers. Jiang Feng kissed my earlobe. Patience, love, the real show is just getting started. The real drama Jiang Feng mentioned was unfolding with Su Wanqing. Unable to bear living alone, and likely spurred on by someone's persuasion, Su Wanqing went to the Lu family. At old Master Lu's 80th birthday celebration, she rushed in front of a crowd of reporters, tearfully lamenting Lu Yongchen's tragic fate and her own desperate situation. Begging the old master to take her in out of kindness, her weeping was deliberately amplified to evoke the image of a vulnerable, marginalized person. She was convinced that what she and Lu Yongchen shared was true love. What's wrong with Yongchen wanting a marriage based on pure affection? He's such a good man. He doesn't chase money or status. The real problem lies with your aristocratic families. Most of the world's wealth is already in your pockets. Why must you constantly crave more? Yes. Life without money is hard, but when you accumulate excessive wealth at the cost of losing compassion and integrity, how can such profit-obsessed capitalists possibly serve the people and the nation? She immediately elevated the discussion to a whole new level. The remarks struck a chord with journalists and the working class alike. This world has never been kind to capitalists. Disdain for capitalists permeates every corner of society. Anyone could accuse old Master Lu of being a money grubber. But Su Wanqing had no right to say so. She was from the bottom rung of society, surviving all these years by clinging to the Lu family's wealth. Her welfare payments came from a foundation established by the old money elite. Even the surgery for her severe spinal cord injury was funded by that foundation. Everything she eats and uses comes from the Lu family. She clearly can't stand living an ordinary life like the common folk. Yet here she is criticizing the wealthy for prioritizing their own interests. But journalists and media outlets will always spin stories from the most sensational angle to maximize impact. Su Wanqing's outburst directly caused Lu Corporation's stock to hit the daily limit down. Su Wanqing thought her dramatic scene would make the Lu family patriarch see the error of his ways, and make the Lus realize that only the kind-hearted Lu Yongchen is fit to be the successor, but she was far too naive. How could the century-old Lu family allow some unrefined woman to cause them such substantial losses? So old Master Lu publicly accepted Su Wanqing in front of the news media, but in reality, Su Wanqing went into premature labor on her very first day entering the Lu household. She gave birth to a stillborn baby. On Su Wanqing's second day in the Lu household, she was scalded by boiling water. Her face was permanently disfigured. On her third day with the Lu family, Su Wanqing was caught red-handed stealing. Due to the enormous sum involved, he was handed over to the judicial authorities that very night. You're the one who put someone up to whispering in Su Wanqing's ear, egging her on to cause trouble for the Lu family, weren't you? I asked Jiang Feng. Jiang Feng clicked his tongue twice. That's my wife for you. Sharp as a tack. He leaned in for a kiss. I asked him what was next. If there was anything else we needed to do, he chuckled softly and said, after this, I don't really need to do anything. Just wait for Lu Yongchen to come out, and let him do whatever he wants. Jiang Feng really didn't need to do anything else. After all, Lu Yongchen had long since sealed his own fate. After his release, Lu Yongchen still managed to get Su Wanqing out. Had he been more restrained, he might have made things work with Su Wanqing, but he just had to be restless and full of himself. On the day I married Jiang Feng, he actually had the audacity to try and stop the wedding. Su Wanqing was clearly sitting right there in the audience. He snatched the microphone from the officiant, stood before me, and publicly declared his love for me. I'm sorry, Yan Yan, it took me until now to realize my true feelings. You're the only one I've ever loved. You're so beautiful and elegant, every other woman pales in comparison. I was blind to have chosen that worthless woman. Please give me another chance, Yan Yan. Marry me. Lu Yongchen took out the ring he had used to propose to Su Wanqing and dropped to one knee. I think everyone was utterly disgusted by Lu Yongchen's performance. feeling like vomit was clogging their nostrils. His shameless remarks continued unabated. Yen Yen, I don't mind that you were with Jiang Feng. I swear I'll treat you even better than he ever did. Marry me. And you'll take care of the household chores and bear our children while I build a business to give you a happy life. Trust me, I'll make a comeback and give you the best life possible. His words were so heartfelt. His attitude was incredibly sincere. But I couldn't hold back and ended up vomiting all over Lu Yanchen's cheap suit right then and there. Ah Feng, I'm going to be sick. Get this nauseating thing out of my sight immediately. And that pathetic one in the audience, looking at me as if I owe her something. This little incident didn't affect Jiang Feng's and my wedding in the slightest. The wedding proceeded on a grand scale. The princelings from the northeast found Lu Yanchen so insufferable that they each gave him a kick while tossing him out. Su Wanqing, however, was stranded due to a broken wheelchair wheel, yet she burned with the urge to confront Lu Yanchen about how much truth lay in his wedding interruption, so she crawled over to Lu Yanchen, who was beaten half to death, and asked him, how much of what you just said to Zhu Yan was true, and how much was false? Do you regret being with me? Of course, Lu Yanchen regretted it. He had regretted it ever since the Lu family abandoned him, but he kept up his pride, unwilling to admit he had chosen the wrong person, which is why he always spoke to me with that condescending sarcasm. He wants to make up with me, but his pride won't let him. Lu Yanchen, tell me, wasn't I your true love? How could you fall for Zhu Yan? Su Wanqing, I must have been blind back then to choose you, this old, ugly, crippled slut over the princess of Shanghai's elite circle. Vicious words spewed from Lu Yanchen's mouth. It shattered Su Wanqing's self-esteem. Her eyes widened and ears perked up as she listened to Lu Yanchen's relentless accusations. Have you even looked at yourself? You're like a dead fish in bed, completely motionless. How dare you compare yourself to Zhu Yan? You used to have some dignity, but now the way you beg for my affection is utterly repulsive. Those paralyzed legs of yours, the stretch marks on your belly, and the age spots on your face, none of these are presentable. If I were you, I'd have hanged myself long ago. Who are you trying to burden by staying alive? Lu Yanchen had lost everything, so he abandoned even the last shred of dignity. He knew Su Wanqing all too well. His words cut like daggers, stabbing straight into her heart. Su Wanqing was a proud soul. Once she set her heart on someone, nothing could sway her. Even now, despite Lu Yanchen's harsh words, she suppressed a bitter smile, slipped unnoticed into the banquet hall, and quietly pocketed a small knife before leaving. While Lu Yanchen was lost in painful memories, a blade was plunged into his heart. The banquet hall was filled with distinguished guests, bustling with excitement. Outside the banquet hall, blood was splattered everywhere. 2 lives lost. Lu Yanchen was dead, and when his family was notified, they were only told to send his body to the crematorium. Su Wanqing died, and with no one to notify, her body was sent to the crematorium along with the others. No one came to collect their ashes. In the end, they were scattered to the wind. Jiang Feng never mentioned it to me. Not wanting to cast a shadow over my mood, after the wedding, Jiang Feng took me to his hometown in northeast China. He brought me to the morning market, where steamed buns were as big as your fist and fried bread cost just 1 yuan. We went skiing through vast stretches of pristine white snow, like stepping into a fairy tale. He took me hunting in the wild. We grilled our poultry catches over an open fire, a truly unique life experience. 6 months went by like this. I tagged along with him, eating and drinking to my heart's content, and steadily putting on weight. Realizing I couldn't keep gaining, I started dieting to slim down, but Jiang Feng wouldn't hear of me losing weight. They kept me well fed with delicious meals every day. I was living such a carefree life until my water broke. That's when I realized I was pregnant. When the baby was born, Jiang Feng was beaming with joy. See, I told you that not knowing you were pregnant would make it less painful. Having fun hanging out with me all day, aren't you? What a beautiful baby girl. She's the spitting image of you. Honey, I'm so damn happy. Pinch me. I must be dreaming. He pinched his own cheeks until they turned red. Tears of joy finally streamed down my face. I teased him. Come on, you're the big shot from the northeast. Can you stop being so dramatic and crying all the time? You cry more than I do. He wiped his tears and said, what do you know? Before that day, I was crying every damn day, crying over unrequited love. My heart was breaking. These are tears of happiness now, and you won't even let me cry a little longer. Baby, come here. I fucking love you so much. The end. Story 2. A month after breaking up with Suzhou, I was diagnosed with severe depression. On the same day, I caught him cornering a girl against the wall, demanding, I broke up with her like we agreed. Now you should be my girlfriend obediently. The girl looked embarrassed and annoyed, but we're like brothers. That day, because she was defiant, Suzhou punished her severely. As for me, I was distraught and got into a car accident on my way home, dying instantly. When I opened my eyes again, I was back to the day Suzhou confessed his feelings to me. The girl sat among a group of men, her face challenging. Suzhou, go ahead and confess. Don't you like obedient girls? Suzhou gave her a meaningful look and, in a fit of pique, pulled me into his embrace. Shall we be together? I smiled tenderly. Sure, but if you agree to be my boyfriend, no backing out. 01. In the noisy KTV, everyone was egging us on. I thought Suzhou disliked girls. Turns out he's been secretly in love with Lin Tingting. It's like a barren tree blooming. In the dim light, Suzhou sat opposite me, his expression unclear. Calm down, don't scare Tingting. I am Lin Tingting, the subject of Suzhou's confession tonight. His group of friends said that Suzhou had been secretly in love with me for many years. If I were with him, I would definitely be the happiest girl. Incidentally, he was also someone I had liked for a long time. Under normal circumstances, I would excitedly agree right away, but at that moment, I was just quietly observing the girl opposite me, Wan Tang, Suzhou's good brother. She was surrounded by a group of guys, her defiant eyes full of provocation. Suzhou, don't you like obedient girls like Tingting? Hurry up and confess, otherwise, you'll have to settle for this tomboy. Suzhou clenched his teeth and scoffed. Who wants to settle for you? I have someone. Then he embraced me. With resentment and reluctance, he repeated the same confession from his previous life. Tingting, shall we be together? I'll treat you well. So, treating me well meant cheating frequently with Wan Tang, giving me the cold shoulder, and driving me to severe depression. The things they did to me in the past life flashed before my eyes like a slideshow. I forced down the sneer tugging at my lips and said cheerily, sure, agree to be my boyfriend, and no backing out. 02. The party ended late at night. It started to pour heavily outside. Everyone decided to stay overnight at a hotel. Unlike in my previous life, this time I insisted on staying with Suzhou. Wan Tang pursed her lips, somewhat smug. Suzhou loves to grope around in his sleep. I can hardly stand it. It's good that you can share the burden now. I nodded politely. Thanks for the heads up. Wan Tang choked, clenched her lips, and fell silent in a huff. Suzhou hugged me and laughed. Tingting, don't mind her. A girlfriend and a brother are not the same. Wan Tang just oh-ed and left nonchalantly. As soon as Suzhou returned to the room, he went to take a shower. I stared out at the rain through the window, recalling the rainy day I died in my previous life. I was already deeply depressed due to our breakup. At the hospital, I suddenly received an anonymous private message. It was a group chat record from the Suzhou brothers group. In the group, Wan Tang blatantly tagged Suzhou. Let's see who can get rid of their single status first. The loser has to fulfill a condition set by the winner. His brothers in the group were gleefully following the conversation. I bet on Wan Tang to win. How could Zhou brother possibly lose? Less than a month later, Suzhou posted a photo of me sleeping on his shoulder, and he tagged Wan Tang. I won. Wan Tang, come out. Wan Tang coolly replied, what do you want? You lost. My condition is that you become my girlfriend. Holding my phone, I was already in tears. The cold violence I had suffered recently and the oppression from being inexplicably dumped finally made sense. It turned out I was just a part of a bet in their ambiguous game. That day, I hurried back to school seeking justice, but at the girls' dormitory, I saw Suzhou pinning Wan Tang against the wall. His teeth clenched as he said, we agreed that I would break up with Lin Tingting, and then you'd be my girlfriend. Wan Tang, flushed with embarrassment and annoyance, replied, we're like brothers. Who would fall for you? She was severely punished by Suzhou for her stubbornness. That day, on my way back, I was so distressed that I got into a car accident. Meanwhile, Suzhou and Wan Tang came together amid the blessings of their close brothers in the group. In the next room, the noise snapped me back to reality. Wan Tang's boisterous laughter came through. We agreed, the loser has to strip. Wan Tang, you lost, take it off. If I must strip, then so be it, who's afraid? Wan Tang was again playing some excessive game with the group. Suddenly, I was pinned down on the bed. A hoarse voice whispered in my ear, Tingting, I want to kiss you. Suzhou's wet hair was dripping, and his veins stood out on his hand from the effort. I calmly watched the jealousy swirling in his eyes and smiled. Senior, aren't you being a bit too hasty? I knew Suzhou was near his breaking point, unable to have the one he wanted. He came to torment me instead. What kind of absurd morals had he been taught? So, I decided to add fuel to the fire. The crisp sound of the camera shutter woke Suzhou. He saw me holding my phone, his gaze sharpening. Tingting, what are you doing? On the screen was the photo of Suzhou pinning me down on the bed. I opened the chat with Wan Tang and quickly sent it. The laughter next door stopped abruptly. Suzhou stiffened, suddenly shouting, "Lin Tingting, have you lost your mind?" I shivered as if startled. Tears welling up in my eyes. I'm sorry. I sent it to the wrong person. I just wanted to show off my love to my best friend. I didn't mean to send it to Sister Wan Tang." From next door came a man's voice. "Hey, Wan Tang, where are you going? You haven't stripped yet. Who upset you?" Before Wan Tang could burst through the door, I hurriedly climbed out of bed, my voice breaking with sobs. "Senior, I'm feeling a bit unwell. I'm going to get some fresh air." After speaking, I fled through the door, like a frightened coward guilty of wrongdoing, which perfectly matched Suzhou's impression of me. Meanwhile, my phone accidentally fell under the bed, and started recording. In a past life at this moment, Wan Tang and Suzhou were just holding grudges and hadn't gotten together, but I didn't want to wait any longer. Instead of waiting passively, I decided to give them a push and record some evidence in the process, because I ran away too quickly. I collided hard with someone around the corner of the corridor, a large hand pressed against my forehead, gently pushing me away. I looked up into a pair of deep, dark eyes. "What are you rushing for?" His indifferent voice, coupled with his world-weary face, instantly calmed me down. It was Jiangshi, Suzhou's roommate. He was also the only one among Suzhou's friends from a previous life who criticized my gaze. Now, he was silently staring at the crocodile tears on my cheek, from behind. The sound of Wan Tang knocking on Suzhou's door could be heard. "Suzhou, there was a problem with the competition materials last time. I need to discuss it with you." Around the corner, I pinned Jiangshi against the wall, firmly covering his mouth. His hot breath fell on the palm of my hand. It was burning hot. Jiangshi's eyebrows slightly raised, as if waiting for me to explain. It wasn't until Suzhou opened the door and pulled Wan Tang inside, the door slammed shut. Only then did I bite my lip corner, looking pitifully, and said, "Senior, I had an argument with Suzhou." Jiangshi casually leaned against the window frame. His clear and distinct silhouette framed by the rainy night's window created a stunning picture. "Is that so?" "It doesn't seem like it to me." My expression froze, and I silently stared at him. Wan Tang's voice drifted out from behind the door, unusually clear. "Suzhou, you jerk, we're brothers. What are you doing?" Suzhou sneered. "Lost the game, so strip." "Wan Tang, you're playing big. None of your business. I want you to be a brother. You're a brother. I want you to be a girl. You have no say." "Wan Tang, you really need to fix your screw loose." Wan Tang started off defiant, but gradually his voice took on a crying tone. Eventually, it even carried a whining plea for mercy. "What about if Lin Tingting comes back? What's there to be afraid of? It's more thrilling with her just outside." Jiangshi lowered his eyes, letting out a sneer. "You like this kind of trash?" The rain continued to patter outside. I slowly clenched my cold fingertips, smiling faintly. I used to like him a lot. Not anymore. Even though I was calm, the trembling undertone still betrayed my emotions. In a past life, I heeded my mother's advice, got into a good university, and if all went well, I would have a serious relationship with someone I loved, find a stable job after graduation, and live a simple, happy life. But because of this twisted love between these two, my life was ruined. How disgusting. Suddenly, a shadow fell before me. Jiangshi, now standing in front of me, asked, "Want to see them both ruined?" It was a casual remark, yet it sounded like a siren's call at that moment. "Yes, then don't give up on the science and innovation competition." My heart sank suddenly. The science and innovation competition. A competition capable of altering the trajectory of my life, in a past life. Wan Tang and I both made it to the finals. Because of Suzhou's sweet nothings, I voluntarily withdrew. This allowed Wan Tang to win first place and secure a job with $1 million annual salary. She even managed in the future, with a casual remark, to have me fired from a hard-earned job, cutting off my financial source. This was my secret. How did Jiangshi know? I didn't ask. Jiangshi didn't say much either. We both tacitly kept our own secrets. The night passed without any conversations. The next morning, Suzhou found me in the corridor. "Listen, where did you go last night? I knocked last night, but you didn't answer. So, I checked into another room." Suzhou pursed his lips. "I shouldn't have yelled at you last night. I'm sorry. How about I make it up to you by taking you on a vacation?" I kept my head down, remaining silent. Just minutes earlier, because Wan Tang was hesitant to admit her feelings, they had just had an argument. Even so, after receiving the final list for the competition, Suzhou decided to persuade me to withdraw from the contest, to give Wan Tang a chance. Wan Tang walked out from the room next door. The wind blew her hair, exposing the kiss mark on her neck. Everyone started teasing. "Wan Tang, Is there something going on? She hurriedly covered her neck, a flash of embarrassment in her eyes. No. This response undoubtedly made Suzhou even angrier. Suzhou gave her a cold glance. His expression slightly stern, he affectionately touched my ear. Listen, come inside, I have something to tell you. I went back to my room to retrieve my suitcase and phone. Turning around, I saw Suzhou closing the door. He then came over and gently hugged me. Listen. You made it to the finals of the science and technology competition. I pretended to be surprised, widening my eyes. Really, yes, but even if you win the championship, you won't be able to join our H company or sign that high salary contract, because you're too soft, and you can't handle a high-stress work environment. I stared at Suzhou seriously as he played his part, struggling to suppress the smirk on my lips. He did the same in my past life, constantly undermining my confidence, persuading me to drop out. Listen, I've seen many like you, they never make it through the internship. Suzhou spoke earnestly, but luckily, you met me. After graduation, you can join my family's company, and no one will dare to bully you. You should drop out of the competition. I bit my lip, hesitating for a long time before asking, is going to your family company reliable? I come from a single-parent family and I don't feel very secure. Suzhou held me tightly. Don't worry. Listen, I'll propose to you on the day of the competition. I'll give you the security you need. I leaned on his shoulder, smiling, yet my eyes were filled with coldness. I am a child from a single-parent family and lack a sense of security. I once told Suzhou this seriously, and then, cautiously and joyfully, I looked forward to our future, giving Suzhou the chance to deceive me. This time around, he would pay the price for those words. As the competition approached day by day, I spent more and more time in front of the computer. My roommate came back from outside and asked, listen, you haven't eaten all day, are you sure you're okay? I stared at the computer, responding casually, yeah, I'll eat later. The conversation dropped there. A message from Suzhou popped up on my phone. There's a concert tonight, and I'd like you to come with me. Over the past week, Suzhou had been finding all sorts of reasons to ask me out. It was draining my time. Normally, I could handle it, but today, my stomach was hurting, so I used that as an excuse to brush him off. My roommate commented, Suzhou really cares about you. It's almost common knowledge throughout the campus. I closed the chat with Suzhou without replying. Then, Jiangshi called, Lin Tingting, come downstairs for dinner. He had been away at another school for a competition, and I hadn't expected him back so soon. I said, my stomach hurts, I don't want to go. Are you coming down yourself? Or should I storm into your dorm and carry you out? Minutes later, wrapped in my coat, I pushed open the dorm building's main door. I felt so lightheaded as I walked. I told you I don't want to eat. Jiangshi, looking grim, touched my forehead. You're sick. You skip meals just because I'm out at a conference. When Jiangshi was around, he made sure I ate 3 meals a day, even if Suzhou had called me out. Upon returning, Jiangshi would still forcibly feed me a late-night snack. I wanted to say something but ended up collapsing into Jiangshi's arms, losing consciousness. Then everything went dark, as if floating through a murky swamp. Loud arguing reached my ears from afar, muffled as if through cotton, all cramming into my ears. It felt like another world. Mr. Jiang, Lin Tingting is dead. What happened? A car accident. Jiangshi, calm down. I can't fucking calm down. Damn those two bastards. Do you like Lin Tingting? If not, why seek revenge for her? One doesn't need to like someone to avenge them. I can't stand seeing the good people being bullied. Lin Tingting, I think I like you. Lin Tingting, I'm coming to find you. 07. I suddenly opened my eyes. In the quiet hospital room, the occasional beep of machines could be heard. Jiangshi, head bowed, sat on the couch, apparently asleep. I studied him intently, uncertain whether the voices were hallucinations or real events from a past life after my death. Jiangshi looked exhausted, with faint dark circles under his eyes, probably because of my illness. Noticing my gaze, his eyelashes twitched, and he slowly opened his eyes. Our eyes met, his voice hoarse and weary. Jiangshi asked, Lin Tingting, why are you staring at me? Out of nowhere, I blurted, you like me. Jiangshi stiffened, his eyes instantly clearing. His familiar teasing tone returned, so young, yet so narcissistic. I was taken aback, turned away my face, and didn't respond. The doctor said that due to high stress, I had developed acute gastric ulcers and needed to be hospitalized for IV therapy. I said I wanted ice cream. Jiangshi retorted, Lin Tingting, do I look like your dad? I worry about you so much. My hair's turning white. In the end, he still bought a box of strawberry-flavored ice cream. He handed me a small spoonful, and then he ate the rest. Since he had been staying with me frequently, he's picked up a new quirk. When things get busy, Jiangshi has a habit of tossing his phone to me. He asks me to help read his messages. Just then, the phone buzzed again. I smoothly unlocked it and saw that Suzhou had sent a message in the dorm group chat. What's it about this time? Jiangshi asked nonchalantly, reluctantly. I read the message aloud. Bro Zhou, are you really planning to use your looks to win over Lin Tingting? Also Ruan Tang can come first without hesitation. Isn't Ruan Tang still giving you the cold shoulder? Suzhou replied harshly, Ruan Tang is as stubborn as a mule. What choice do I have but to coax her? I've fallen into her trap, and I admit it. After I finished reading, the room fell silent. Was he trying to clearly tell me that I'm an idiot? The dim light from the computer illuminated Jiangshi's distinct facial features. He really was good looking. I don't even know why. Ever since I woke up, every time I look at Jiangshi, my heart starts beating uncontrollably faster. Suddenly, I spoke softly. Senior, it hurts. Jiangshi lifted his eyelids, his dark eyes harboring an indiscernible emotion. Where does it hurt? My stomach. His expression tightened. He closed the laptop and came over. As he approached, he read the inquiry in my eyes. I grinned. And you said you didn't like me. After a brief pause, Jiangshi flashed a dangerous smile. You deserve it. Better to die of pain. You even got medicine for me. Are you worried about me? Jiangshi coldly said. Shut up. Or I'll poison you to death. During my hospital stay, whenever Suzhou came to visit, Jiangshi would briefly disappear. On the day I was discharged, Suzhou dragged Jiangshi along to help. Lately, Suzhou seemed to be in a good mood. Even when he listened to me, there was a smile in his eyes, probably because everything was going smoothly. After all, Ruan Tang was back in their little group, sharing the same milk tea with him, and always wanting to be his dad. Ting Ting. I'm taking you out to stay tonight. Tomorrow was the competition. Suzhou had arranged everything meticulously. Even though I had agreed in person to withdraw, he still wasn't reassured, afraid that I'd cause trouble for Ruan Tang if I returned to school. I quietly asked, isn't it inappropriate to leave school privately in front of the student council president? Jiangshi gave me a knowing look. Suzhou laughed. Coincidentally, the student council president is my roommate, and your hospitalization was through his connections. We are on good terms. Jiangshi acknowledged with an O. That might not work. Why not? Ms. Su just called, asking me to bring Lin Tingting back. Suzhou became anxious. Why has Ms. Su suddenly taken an interest in Lin Tingting? The person who secretly complained curled their lips. Don't know. Maybe she's worried about the patient making trouble, and they're checking their dorm tonight. Lin Tingting needs to be there. Reluctantly, Suzhou took me back to school. Along the way, he repeatedly reminded me that he would propose to me tomorrow. I was moved to tears. Suzhou, you're the first person to be so kind to me. Tomorrow, I'll be waiting for you. On the day I went to submit the competition documents, I ran into Ruan Tang at the door. Lin Tingting, weren't you supposed to withdraw from the competition? Ruan Tang looked surprised. Amidst a hint of panic, I calmly handed the materials to the teacher. Why should I give up such a great opportunity? But your personality isn't suitable. My personality isn't suitable, and you think yours, always playing the father figure, is, I retorted without holding back. Better mind your own business. While Ruan Tang was busy sharing a milk tea with others, letting them call her dad, I had already utilized the market trends of the next 3 years to create the best entrepreneurial project. Ruan Tang was completely thrown off balance. She grabbed my arm, forcing a smile. Suzhou confessed his love for you today. Aren't you going? It's Suzhou we're talking about. I chuckled lightly. It's such a rare opportunity. You should go. Ruan Tang's face turned pale in an instant. On the way to the competition, Suzhou's remarks kept flashing back in my mind. Just a lovesick fool. Being a stepping stone for Ruan Tang is her honor. I'll marry Ruan Tang in the future, and Lin Tingting will have to sit at the main table. If Ruan Tang had come to her senses earlier, there wouldn't have been anything for Lin Tingting. I smiled, feeling warmth around my eyes. In my past life, I never reached this competition, but today, I was here. Nobody knows the hardships I endured and the detours I took for this position. My phone, tucked in my backpack, started vibrating wildly. I guessed it was Suzhou calling. In both past and present lives, Suzhou never doubted his charm. He was so confident that I would skip the competition just to witness his foolish proposal. I watched with delight as Ruan Tang stood frozen, about to cry. Tingting, you go first. The teacher called me. Just before I went on stage, Suzhou hurried back and grabbed me. With a stern voice, he said, Lin Tingting, didn't you promise me you'd give up the competition? I looked at him innocently, a smile I couldn't suppress playing on my lips. Senior, could you confess your love for me here? Just say you love me, and I will leave everything behind to be with you." The commotion quickly attracted a crowd. People pointed and whispered, "Isn't that Lin Tingting, the one RH company is interested in? They say she'll sign a contract right after the competition. She's way more impressive than Ruan Tang." Suzhou's eyes flickered, and the next second, he wrapped his arms around my waist, speaking rapidly, "Tingting, I can give you everything if you just come with me, would you?" The scene fell into dead silence. Ruan Tang looked at me as if I was a lifeline. I slowly smiled, clearly articulating my response, "Of course not, idiot." As his gaze darkened, I mocked unhurriedly, "Just playing around. You didn't really think I was lovesick, did you? You're so naive." Meanwhile, whispers erupted among the crowd. Suzhou and Ruan Tang had a thing. Damn, buddies by day, passion by night. That's really dirty. Ruan Tang is so disgusting. That evening, the audio recording I made came into play. The forum post fermented and had already hit the homepage. Ruan Tang's coquettish voice disgusted many. She blends in with men all day, acting like a tomboy, but sounds like this. Ruan Tang turned pale, biting her lip as tears rolled down her cheeks. Realizing he'd been played, Suzhou's look turned ice cold. "Lin Tingting, are you sure you want to do this to her?" I raised an eyebrow, waiting for him to continue. Suddenly, Suzhou sneered, "Ladies and gentlemen, I accuse Lin Tingting of plagiarism." As soon as he said this, the room exploded into chaos. Suzhou pulled out a printed draft of a graduation thesis. "Lin Tingting, can you explain why your topic is the same as Jiangshi's thesis?" I was stunned when I saw Jiangshi's topic. In my past life, Jiangshi's thesis wasn't this. He also seemed to have a perfect grasp of the trends 3 years from now. Suzhou said, "Jiangshi only met you a few times, and you stole his work. Lin Tingting, do you deserve my sincerity?" The principal looked stern. "Student Lin Tingting, please explain yourself." This topic was quite unpopular in today's view. I calmed myself and explained, "Principal, just because the topics are the same doesn't prove plagiarism. Stop making excuses. Without Jiangshi, could you have thought of this?" The principal waved his hand impatiently. "The competition cannot be delayed. Lin Tingting is disqualified." With just those light words, the staff pulled out my materials and threw them into the trash can. I let out a mocking laugh. It felt like I was back in my past life when I was falsely accused of plagiarism by Ruan Tang and lost my job. They were powerful and numerous. A few words from them could twist the truth. The teachers and students below were buzzing with comments. "I thought she was so capable. What a disappointment, exposing her boyfriend with a recording. She can't be any good." Suddenly, Ruan Tang exclaimed in shock, "Ah, Tingting, how could you be cheating on someone else?" Ruan Tang excitedly pulled out a photo from her phone, showing it to the students around her. In the photo, under the dim night sky, a tall figure was bending over at the bedside, stealing a kiss from the sleeping me. Only my profile could be seen in the photo. Suzhou was stunned, his face full of scorn and disgust almost overflowing. "Really, you accuse me of cheating? Why don't you look at yourself? With so many men in the school, are they all your boyfriends? Lin Tingting, you've broken several school rules. You can only be expelled. If you kneel and beg now, I might still take care of you." I stared at Suzhou's beast-like face, about to pull out my phone to call the police. Raising my hand to slap him, suddenly, out of nowhere, with a loud bang, Suzhou was kicked off the stage. Jiangshi appeared behind him at some point. He smirked coldly. "Say that again. Who are you going to take care of?" "I've kept her well-fed and healthy. What right do you have, you pauper, to take care of anyone?" Jiangshi's arrival silenced the crowd. The principal was speechless. "Jiangshi, weren't you at the neighboring school?" Jiangshi glanced at Suzhou. "I heard someone shamelessly bullying a classmate. As the student council president, I had to come back and stand up for my fellow students." Suzhou frowned. "Jiangshi, she plagiarized your paper and I was taking revenge for you." "Why did you kick me?" Jiangshi's face remained cold. "Who said she copied me? Can't I copy her instead?" Suzhou was taken aback, finally sensing something was amiss. "Dude, brother sure, what kind of spell has she cast on you?" He was livid, holding up a photo. "Her private life is a mess. She's involved with countless men." Jiangshi lazily glanced at the photo and said, "That's me. Damn it." Everyone was stunned. Jiangshi snatched the photo and smirked coldly. "I rarely act like a hooligan." "And you caught it on camera. Are you asking for trouble?" Suzhou looked as if his brain had been drained, his face deathly pale. "No, you wouldn't do that." The principal chimed in. "Jiangshi, you're a good student. Don't let emotions cloud your judgment." Jiangshi lifted his eyelids lazily, his voice cold. "Sorry, principal, but this good student likes to secretly play dirty, knowing that Lin Tingting has a boyfriend. I still went ahead and seduced her. I'm sorry to disappoint you." The atmosphere peaked with Jiangshi's words. Curious students quickly logged onto the school forum. Come and see. It's getting exciting. Is this a love square? No, no. It's Suzhou and Wan Tang turning the tables. Did Suzhou just spread false rumors? I ignored the chaos around and said to the principal, I want to call the police. The principal went pale. Lin Tingting, what are you doing? Suzhou just accused me of being promiscuous and spread false rumors about me. Everyone heard it. Suzhou, furious and embarrassed, retorted, you know what you did. What did I do? My eyes reddened under Suzhou's gaze. A few minutes later, surrounded by the principal and teachers, they pleaded, calm down, let's not escalate this, put down the phone. I felt deeply wronged. Suzhou is certain about my disordered private life, which means he must have seen me with someone else. I have no knowledge of this. So I suspect someone took advantage of me while I was asleep. I want to report a rape, and Suzhou is my witness. Suzhou looked extremely uncomfortable. Wan Tang was too scared to speak. Only then did everyone realize the severity of the situation. Jiangshi, enjoying the drama, added, this is serious, you should call the police. The incident ended with Suzhou being forced to take a leave of absence. Days later, the competition proceeded smoothly. I defeated Wan Tang with overwhelming superiority and won the championship. RH Company immediately offered me a job. Miss Lin, you are a very insightful person. Would you consider joining our company after graduation? If this had been right after I was reborn, I would have signed the contract without hesitation. But now, I declined. May I ask why? I smiled. Someone offered me a more tempting deal. That was Suzhou's brother, Su Yanhe. He traded Suzhou's future and 3 years of market trends for my cooperation. I had no reason to refuse. After the competition, Jiangshi and I walked side by side along the tree-lined path. The warm spring breeze freely brushed our shoulders. I remembered that photo. After hesitating for a long time, I finally asked, why did you kiss me secretly? Jiangshi's eyes, hidden in the dappled light, were inscrutable. Haven't you already figured it out? Because I like you. Since our last lifetime, in his previous life, Jiangshi first met Lin Tingting on a hot summer afternoon. Brother Shi. Did you know Suzhou is in a relationship? He heard just after attending a lecture. She wore a faded old dress and sat demurely in the corner of the KTV, amidst the teasing of the crowd. She seemed uneasy, a poor student from the school. Lin Tingting, Jiangshi knew her. He had to approve her monthly subsidy. He had seen Lin Tingting's face countless times. Lin Tingting wanted to greet him. Jiangshi coldly replied, she looks obedient, but there's something off about her eyes. He hoped Lin Tingting would understand the hidden meaning. Suzhou was not a good person. If someone asked Jiangshi who he disliked the most, he would say people obsessed with romance. Therefore, Lin Tingting's presence was like dancing in a minefield for him. He couldn't understand how someone could starve themselves to save money for a man's expenses. Suzhou was not short of money. When he said this, the poor students who came to collect their subsidy looked at him with wide eyes and said, Lin Tingting is not obsessed with romance. She's a genuinely good person, kind to everyone. If you have a problem, she would help you too. Jiangshi thought to himself, she must be a saint. Because of a casual joke from Suzhou, Lin Tingting seriously started saving money for him. She had no idea that a pair of Suzhou's shoes could cost tens of thousands. Nor did she know that the boy she liked mocked her behind her back as an unsophisticated bumpkin. Jiangshi was furious. When Lin Tingting came looking for Suzhou, he snapped at her. Hey, I can't afford a meal, lend me some money. Frightened, Lin Tingting shrank back and handed him a banknote. She treated him like a robber. From that day on, Jiangshi began to pay out of his own pocket to provide Lin Tingting with a subsidy. In the name of the school, Lin Tingting's living expenses increased, yet she did not gain weight. She remained thin, like a kite that could be blown away by the wind at any moment. In the second semester of his junior year, Jiangshi was going abroad as an exchange student. Before leaving, he specifically had someone inquire about Lin Tingting. They said, she's not having any difficulties in life, and her relationship with Suzhou is quite stable. The extra living expenses she had, she donated them all. Jiangshi asked, donated where? To girls in impoverished mountain areas and some female students who couldn't afford tuition fees. Jiangshi was truly exasperated. You have to admit, there are some people in the world who just love to illuminate others' paths. Even if they can barely survive themselves, they still think about lighting the way for the next generation. Before leaving, Jiangshi instructed someone to regularly deposit money into her account. He would be gone for 2 years. Life abroad was chaotic, and he barely managed to cope. He occasionally called back home. He learned that Lin Tingting had passed her graduation defense. She had signed a decent job. She hadn't broken up with Suzhou. It seemed that Lin Tingting's life was so serene, so much so that any presumptuous disturbance by him was unwarranted. When Jiangshi returned, he was to take over the family business. At the welcome party, Su Zhou and Wan Tang had become a couple. After a brief moment of shock, Jiangshi suddenly remembered someone. As if possessed, he asked, "What about Lin Tingting?" Wan Tang pouted disdainfully. "Oh, she's not in good spirits, she's in the hospital. What's wrong with her? Depression." She seemed to remember a joke, laughing uproariously. Falling in love had left him depressed. It seems the children of the poor really can't afford to play this game. Perhaps noticing his pallid complexion, the welcome banquet did not last long. As soon as Jiangshi stepped out, he made a phone call. "What's going on with Lin Tingting? Why didn't you tell me she has depression?" The voice on the other end was bitter. "Mr. Jiang, Lin Tingting was dumped by Su Zhou. I can't exactly force Su Zhou to take her back. Plus, you never asked me to report these things to you. Oh, and she was fired from her company last month." Jiangshi, unusually out of control, yelled into the phone, "Then find her a job. She's hospitalized and can't work." Jiangshi, furious, slammed down the phone. He cursed into the air. Damn it, if Lin Tingting had any sense, she would have kicked Su Zhou to the curb. How could she let herself be treated like this? Jiangshi felt a blockage in his heart. He couldn't understand why Lin Tingting was depressed. He consulted a psychologist. The psychologist explained, "Mr. Jiang, have you heard of the boiling frog syndrome? 3 years is enough time to trap a healthy person in increasingly scalding water, and even if she wants to climb out now, it's too late. She's not just suffering from depression, her physical health is deteriorating too." In other words, Su Zhou and Wan Tang must have subjected Lin Tingting to prolonged mental torture. Jiangshi was unaware of all this. All he could do was find Lin Tingting the best doctors. Afraid that his presence might remind her of Su Zhou, he didn't even dare to visit her. The news of Wan Tang being with Su Zhou had stirred many people. Every now and then, Jiangshi would hear about parties he was invited to, where Su Zhou and Wan Tang would flaunt their relationship. Su Zhou said he had been secretly in love with Wan Tang for 4 years. For years, their entire college time. Only then did Jiangshi realize Lin Tingting had been played. One day, as a shareholder, Jiangshi attended a meeting at Su Yanhe's company. At the entrance, he kicked Su Zhou to the ground. Su Yanhe raised an eyebrow. "Mr. Jiang, kicking my brother in front of me, isn't that a bit much?" Still unsatisfied, Jiangshi kicked him a couple more times. That evening, he received news of Lin Tingting's death. She died in a car accident. Her body was emaciated. On Lin Tingting's phone, there were screenshots left. They were of Su Zhou and Wan Tang's chat logs in a group of over 300 people. The screenshots were sent to Lin Tingting from Wan Tang's alternate account. She just wanted to push Lin Tingting over the edge, to let her fragile existence fall into the abyss sooner. When Jiangshi first saw these, after finishing, he simply said 2 words, "Scum." Jiangshi began to take revenge on Wan Tang and Su Zhou. His methods were so extreme they were irrational. Initially, Su Yanhe made symbolic attempts to protect Su Zhou, but eventually, he gave up. Once when Jiangshi was drunk, Su Yanhe even asked, "Do you like Lin Tingting? If not, why seek revenge for her?" Jiangshi replied, "You don't have to like someone to avenge them. I just can't stand seeing good people being bullied. Any decent man would feel the same." Later, Wan Tang, having been implicated in plagiarism early in her career, was sued by many and ultimately lost her job. As for Su Zhou, every encounter with Jiangshi ended in a beating. Su Yanhe, siding with Jiangshi, made Su Zhou's life a living hell. It wasn't long before Su Zhou lost a leg. Su Yanhe asked, "Is this enough? Should we finish them off?" Jiangshi said, "Enough." Jiangshi saw himself as a man of justice. One late night, he casually opened up a folded group chat. At the bottom, there was a large group that had been disbanded. In that moment, a bitter wave fiercely struck him, throwing him into a seemingly bottomless sea. The stakes and secrets he should have been aware of were blatantly displayed on the screen, yet, he had forgotten that he was also part of the group. Would Lin Tingtian hate him? Jiangshi spent the whole night smoking. The next morning, he got up early, grabbed Su Zhou and pushed him into the car. The race car sped along the winding mountain road. Su Zhou was terrified and kept begging for mercy. Jiangshi, however, was in a good mood. "Su Zhou, do you think if I drive off the cliff, I'll get to see the person I want to meet?" Trembling, Su Zhou pleaded, "Mr. Jiang, I'm sorry. I was wrong to play with Lin Tingtian's feelings. I'm despicable. I really don't want to die. Please let me go." These words, however, only provoked Jiangshi's inner ruthlessness. He floored the accelerator, speeding to the mountain top. The roaring engine shattered the clouds in the sky. Before his death, Suzhou suddenly seized the steering wheel. The car, like a drunken beast, staggered headlong towards the cliff. Jiangshi was thrown from the car, his body riddled with fractures. Suzhou went down with the car over the cliff. With an explosion, there was nothing left of him. During his dazed moments, Jiangshi still did not see Lin Tingtian. He felt that all those beautiful myths were nonsense. There was no heaven, no hell. When a person dies, everything ends. Eventually, he lay on an emergency room bed in the hospital, watching the incandescent light above streak backwards. A nurse chattered beside him, reporting his blood pressure and heart rate. In the badge hanging from the nurse's chest, he saw a familiar sticker. It was Lin Tingtian's favorite sticker. He vaguely reached out, grabbed the nurse and asked, "Do you know Lin Tingtian?" The nurse replied, "She is my sponsor." The badge reading rescue and help made his head spin. The nurse's eyes were as clear as Lin Tingtian's. "Lie still, let me save you." "Hey, Jiangshi." I waved my hand in front of Jiangshi's eyes. "What are you thinking about?" Since he had inexplicably confessed to me, Jiangshi seemed to have lost his soul. He came to his senses, stared at me for a while, then suddenly said, "I was wondering, if I kiss you now, would you hit me?" We silently looked at each other. Jiangshi swallowed, suddenly grabbed my wrist, pinned it behind me, and leaned down to kiss me. He bit hard and fiercely. It hurt so much that I frowned. He didn't let me dodge. The spring breeze joyfully and gently swirled around us, like my heart, leaping joyously. After a long time, Jiangshi reluctantly let go of me. "Lin Tingtian, shall we go eat?" Suddenly, I had a strange feeling. It seemed Jiangshi was particularly insistent about having meals with me. The thing he said to me most was, "Eat well." In the following days, I became quite popular at school. Wherever I went, people greeted me. I was even selected as one of the school's outstanding figures of the year and invited to an interview. Tingtian, recently Yuan Tang has been spreading rumors everywhere, saying that you won the competition only because Jiangshi helped you. My roommate pushed the forum post in front of me, exposing the secrets behind Lin Tingtian's award. Due to Yuan Tang's rumors, many people took them to be true. Do you know what it means to set up a persona? The one who ranks first can't just be an ordinary person. Let me put it this way. In this room, any junior who manages to surpass Jiangshi will take the top spot. Unlike us guys, we don't have that kind of support. I still support Yuan Tang though. Her roommate was furious. You didn't even know Jiangshi when you finished your first draft. These people just can't stand seeing a girl succeed. I encountered Yuan Tang in the academic building. She was as carefree as ever. "Listen, if you get involved romantically with guys, you'll lose sooner or later. You could learn from me, be one of the guys, and when you enter society, you'll have more options. Looks like I'm not losing after all. Haha." I looked at her calmly. "Alright, senior, keep it up." I turned around and reported the matter to the school. Yuan Tang was called in by the school due to her rumor-mongering. After all, the science and innovation competition was a major focus of the city. Her reckless online statements had tarnished the school's image. Yuan Tang tried to get those guys to help her. "Didn't you say you supported me?" Lin Tingting must be hiding something. If we band together against her, we can definitely succeed. The guys avoided eye contact. Yuan Tang couldn't contain her anger anymore. "I wasted my time with you. A bunch of ungrateful wretches," someone sneered impatiently. "You really think you're one of the guys? We'll take an easy opportunity if it's given. Why not? Plus, you're quite soft to the touch." Yuan Tang froze on the spot. Her eyes instantly reddened. Yuan Tang, unwilling to give up, said, "Teacher, Lin Tingting is Jiangshi's girlfriend. Is it fair for him to help her?" The teacher explained helplessly. Jiangshi did not vote for Lin Tingting. Neither his dorm mates nor any student council members participated in the voting. The results were completely fair. Yuan Tang became infamous on the school forum. Those who had been wronged by her before mocked her. "Yuan Tang, the goddess, where are your good brothers to help you now? Guys aren't that stupid, pretty and flattering. Why wouldn't we take advantage? Now that her reputation is ruined, who would want to hang out with her?" 13. I signed an agreement with Suzhou's brother. Su Yanhe would support me until I graduate from my master's. And he made sure I could join his family's company. Only then did I realize he had been wanting to ruin Suzhou for a long time. The new semester started. Yuan Tang seemed a bit off. In 1 week, she fought with her roommate and classmates 5 times. There was even bloodshed. Following my advice, Su Yanhe let Suzhou return. When Yuan Tang was called away by a teacher for a talk, Suzhou was sitting across from me. "Tingting, I'm sorry. I listened to my brother and will get along well with you." He clearly hadn't escaped Su Yanhe's handling. He had learned his lesson. I smiled slightly. "It's all in the past. I asked the senior here today to discuss a handover. There are some areas I don't quite understand and need your guidance. This new academic year, the title of Vice President of the Student Council fell upon me. Suzhou's eyes lit up. Okay, Ting Ting, whatever you want. Just then, Yuan Tang passed by the door and suddenly grabbed onto the doorframe. Suzhou, what are you doing here? You're trying to get back together with her, aren't you? The sharp interrogation echoed inside the room. I replied, sorry, we were just discussing work. Senior, you've misunderstood. Yuan Tang's gaze was icy. Get lost. Did I even speak to you? I stepped back, helplessly looking towards Suzhou. Senior, it seems we can't continue today. I'll come to your place another time. Suzhou hummed an acknowledgement and walked past Yuan Tang. Yuan Tang, no longer bothering to scold me, quickly followed after Suzhou. I turned back to my computer screen where Suzhou's chat window was pinned to the top. Over the next week, I would chat with Suzhou frequently. Suddenly, I was lifted by the waist and placed on the desk. Jiangshi was stern-faced as he kissed me. Lin Tingting, are you getting too caught up in the act? Still smiling at Suzhou, why are you rewarding him? Holding Jiangshi's shoulders, my breathing uneven, I said, Senior, don't call me senior. I'm your boyfriend, call me by my name. I smiled. Jiangshi kissed me passionately, his hand on my waist, giving it a squeeze. You've gained a bit of weight. What do you want to eat today? I stared at him seriously. Why do you always want to eat with me? Jiangshi pressed his lips together, brushed my hair away. Because I don't want you to end up like you did in your previous life, all skin and bones. Ting Ting. That's my lifetime nightmare. The warm sunlight from outside showered over us. His warmth was conveyed without a trace of loss. I finally asked the question that had troubled me for a long time. Why do you also remember? Could it be that you also died? Jiangshi's smile was bright and dazzling. Nonsense. I died of old age. 14. 2 weeks later, Yuan Tang burst into the school's broadcast station. In front of Suzhou, she cried bitterly. Suzhou, I've liked you for many years. You can't abandon me for Lin Tingting. As she spoke, the speakers of the broadcast station were still on. Yuan Tang grabbed my clothes, deliberately preventing me from turning off the broadcast. Ting Ting, I know you hate me, but aren't you afraid of retribution for meddling in my relationship with Suzhou? And you're already with Jiangshi, yet you're unclear with Suzhou in the broadcast room. Are you being fair to Jiangshi? Curious onlookers gathered. They began discussing on the school forum. Lin Tingting meddling. What's going on? Yuan Tang has really lost it. Who jokes about this kind of thing? It's a rest day. What were Lin Tingting and Suzhou doing in the broadcast room? Suspicious. Who knows Jiangshi? Give him a heads up. Jiangshi replied personally below. I'm at the scene. At the same time, the sliding door behind the broadcast room opened. School teachers, student council members, and Jiangshi were all present. Dozens of eyes stared at Yuan Tang, mocking, scoffing, puzzled. The teacher spoke sternly. Yuan Tang, you've gone too far. Yuan Tang shuddered. Why? I clearly heard. The teacher rebuked without mercy. Tonight was our program to welcome the school anniversary. What are you snooping around for? Suzhou withdrew his hand from Yuan Tang's embrace. His tone cold. Yuan Tang, I've always treated you like a brother. It's unfortunate you misunderstood. Let's end it here. Witnessing the whole scene, the onlookers couldn't help but laugh. Lin Tingting is busy dating Jiangshi. Who cares about Suzhou? Suzhou is ambiguous with others. Whoever wants to be the fallback guy can be, but I definitely won't be. Later, the school sent Yuan Tang to the counseling center. The doctor diagnosed Yuan Tang with depression and recommended hospital treatment. I contacted her parents for her. Depression? Is it that serious? Her parents frowned deeply. I nodded earnestly. I had a friend who went from mild to severe depression and eventually died, so I suggest you get her treated sooner rather than later. Despite Yuan Tang's objections, her parents insisted on sending her to the hospital. On the day Yuan Tang was taken away, she cursed me fiercely. Lin Tingting, you'll pay for this someday. I smiled and said, Senior, I'll remember your words. I hope you remember me when you take your medication. Watching Yuan Tang's car slowly disappear, my smile finally faded. My palm was marked from clenching it so tightly. Jiangshi handed me a cup of milk tea. I took a sip. It was sweet, mixed with the scent of jasmine. I said, those medicines are really bitter. I take them seriously every day to stay alive. I hope she does the same. Jiangshi patted my head. Don't worry, she won't suffer any less than you did. Actually, I once asked Jiangshi about his plans for the future. Given another chance, he could use the information advantage to greatly develop his family's business. And indeed, that's what Jiangshi did. During our first year together, Jiangshi went abroad. Before leaving, he weighed me. If you've lost weight by the time I return, just you wait. As graduation approached, I secured a position as a grad student at my university. This allowed me to manage the business of Su Yenha's company as well. Su Zhou wholeheartedly thought I was assisting Su Yenha with the intent of marrying into the Su family. Unfortunately, he never got my confession. He was ousted from the company. Brother, Lin Tingting is my person. If I leave, she'll leave with me. Su Yenha raised an eyebrow. Oh, is that so? At the shareholders' meeting, I sat next to Chairman Su Yenha, dressed impeccably. In 2 years, a certain sharpness had developed between my youthful brows. Su Yenha looked at me, not sparing any sarcasm. Zhou always thought I was grooming a wife for him, didn't he realize? I grinned. He really had no clue. After so many years of Su Yenha's campaigns, I had become his most capable assistant. Everyone was silent, not even daring to laugh. I said, Mr. Su is my boss. Su Zhou, we part here, this time. Jiangshi stayed abroad for 5 years. The first project between the Jiang and Su families, which I managed, accurately predicted market risks and made a huge splash in the domestic market in its first year. Stocks of both families soared. In August, the heir of the Jiang family returned home. As part of the collaboration, I was there to welcome him. On the airport's large screen, the day's news was still scrolling. In recent years, the number of people suffering from depression has greatly increased. Yesterday, a highly talented student from University A committed suicide, previously diagnosed with severe depression. Experts urge the public to pay attention to mental health. I stared at the news, momentarily dazed. In that once possible world, I could have been the subject of that news. Lin Tingting, long time no see. Someone stood in front of me. The midday sun ruthlessly penetrated the airport glass. The surrounding light scattered like shattered colored glass. I looked up, meeting those dark, intense eyes. 5 years had smoothed the sharp edges and the defiance in Jiangshi's eyes, leaving behind a calmer demeanor. He reached out his hand towards me. Let me see if you've lost weight. I smiled slowly, affectionately taking his hand. We walked towards the airport entrance, passing through a path dappled with light. Time swiftly passes, moments overlap. This time, Lin Tingting survived the tumultuous year of being 23, and Jiangshi, who was supposed to have died in the hospital, now stood right beside her. Story 2. My brother bullied Zhou Linsun, deafening him and causing the death of his mother. 10 years later, the impoverished academic overachiever became a business tycoon, took everything from my brother, and kept me as his caged canary. My brother took me and fled abroad. I thought I was finally free, but my brother imprisoned and abused me, starving me. He recorded videos of the abuse and sent them to Zhou Linsun, extorting 3 billion from him. After getting the money, my brother callously handed me over to a group of vagrants, and I died from the torment. The man I loathed like a viper killed those who hurt me and beheaded my brother. Covered in blood, he held my body and cried, "Don't be afraid, I've come to take you home." Reborn at 18, I vowed to seek revenge and to save him. 01. After being reborn, I went to find Zhou Linsun and saw Xinyao, my fraternal twin brother, bullying him with his friends. Xinyao, who appeared as a perfect student in front of teachers and parents, was actually malicious and extremely envious. He bullied Zhou Linsun simply because Zhou's presence meant he could only be second best. Xinyao, wielding a baseball bat, smashed up a wonton shop, laughing arrogantly, "I want you out of Jialan High School and out of the capital. Did you take my words for wind?" At that moment, Xinyao didn't know the poor academic genius he was wantonly bullying would years later become a business mogul, stripping Xinyao of everything and imprisoning me as his canary. Zhou Linsun's mother was mute and not quite mentally stable. She was scared into tears. Xinyao sneered, "Look, his mom had her tongue cut out, probably messed with someone else's husband, bore an illegitimate child, and got taught a lesson by the wife, a pair of lowlifes." Suddenly, the normally restrained Zhou Linsun rushed over, tackled Xinyao to the ground, and started punching him in the face. Xinyao, a taekwondo expert who usually only dished out beatings, was unexpectedly overpowered by Zhou Linsun, with a fierce look in his eyes. Zhou seemed like a desperado who had killed before. "What are you all waiting for? Pull him off me." Xinyao's friends were intimidated by Zhou Linsun's aura, and none dared to intervene. It wasn't until Xinyao spat blood that Zhou Linsun let him go. "Get out of my shop." Zhou Linsun then went to comfort his mother, who was crying like a child. With gentle patience, staggering to his feet, Xinyao picked up the baseball bat, his eyes filled with venom, and swung it toward the back of Zhou Linsun's head. "Watch out behind you," I screamed hysterically. Zhou Linsun reacted just in time, grabbing the baseball bat. My heart pounded like a drum. In my previous life, Zhou Linsun was hit in the head with a baseball bat by Xin Yao, resulting in deafness. Thankfully, I prevented it this time. Zhou Linsun wrested the baseball bat from Xin Yao's hands, eyes blazing with rage, and swung it at him. Because of my intervention, the course of events changed dramatically. I rushed forward, spreading my arms to shield Xin Yao. Zhou Linsun, stop. The baseball bat halted just in front of my forehead. Our eyes met. And I remembered how Zhou Linsun had imprisoned me in my past life, in the days when he was like a canary. At night, he kissed me madly, his knees parting my legs, acting recklessly. I couldn't endure his unrestrained demands and begged him to be gentler. Zhou Linsun simply removed his cochlear implant, refusing to listen to me, and did as he pleased according to his own desires. All I could do was helplessly scratch his back with my nails. He enjoyed that, getting even more excited. The man kissed away my tears, chuckling, and said, doing it so many times each day, how can you still not handle it, still so tight, Zhang? Because his technique was terribly poor, yet his desires were heavy. Day by day, with relentless energy, those memories seeped deep into my bones, making me instinctively take a step back. Zhou Linsun stared straight at me, his dark eyes trembling, then he put down the baseball bat. He grabbed my wrist and drew me close to him, saying coldly, Shen Huiyan. You really do, protect your brother. I winced in pain, drawing in a breath of cold air. Zhou Linsun noticed my reaction, rolled up my sleeve, and saw my arm covered in bleeding whip marks. He pulled open my collar. My back was also scarred. Zhou Linsun's eyes turned blood red, his anger even more intense than when he himself was bullied by Xin Yao, bordering on panic. Who did this? It was then that I confirmed I had really been reborn. I stared at him blankly, thinking he had scared me. He softened his voice and asked, Shen Huiyan, tell me, who was it? Xin Yao pushed Zhou Linsun away. Don't touch my sister. Zhou Linsun grabbed Xin Yao's shoulder, twisted his arm behind his back, and hissed, was it you? Until Zhou Linsun saw that Xin Yao's collar also concealed whip marks. None of your business, get lost. Xin Yao shook him off and led me away. I looked back to see Zhou Linsun clenching his fists, his eyes filled with pain and rage. Zhou Linsun, this time I will stand by your side. 03. On this day in my last life, my brother caused Zhou Linsun's ears to go deaf. Zhou Linsun refused to reconcile, insisting on suing Xin Yao. Sister, Zhou Linsun is a perverted scum. He was taking upskirt photos of Zhang Xiaoyun, and I was just teaching him a lesson for her. I didn't mean to deafen him. It was all an accident. I don't want to go to jail. Sister, can you help me talk to him? Ask him to let me go. Zhang Xiaoyun is my best friend. She had a crush on my brother and helped him with his lies. I believed them and went to the hospital to find Zhou Linsun. In the hospital room, Zhou Linsun's head was wrapped in bandages, his face pale. Even in sleep his brows were furrowed with discomfort. Putting myself in the shoes of someone who had been deafened, I felt very sorry for him. Moreover, with the college entrance exams coming up, and the 30 points for the English listening section out of his reach, originally, with his grades, he was likely to be the top scorer of our province in the college entrance examination. I realized that asking Zhou Linsun to drop the lawsuit was a very selfish and despicable act. I turned around and left. He woke up. Come here. I walked over to the hospital bed, nervously fiddling with the panda pendant on my bag. After hesitating, I took out a bank card and wrote on a piece of paper, Zhou Linsun. There are 300,000 yuan on this card. It's the New Year's money I've saved. Take it and get a cochlear implant. Zhou Linsun read the note and smiled. That's not enough. I wrote another note. What else do you want? Suddenly, Zhou Linsun's expression turned wild. He pulled me onto the bed, pinned me down, and kissed me passionately. I struggled. He lifted my hands above my head, holding my wrists, deepening the kiss. Our lips and tongues entwined, unleashing his desire. He was like a madman. I started crying out of fear. Zhou Linsun looked up at me, his eyes red. Even though he was the one tormenting me, his eyes looked incredibly sad. Blood seeped through the bandages. A drop of blood fell along his eyelashes, like a tear of blood, landing on my cheek. His smile was grotesque. What did your brother tell you? That I took secret photos of classmates, that he's the hero who fights evil, and I'm the despicable pervert. Yes, I'm a pervert. Do you feel it? I'm aroused. I want you. Breathing heavily, I slowly said in sign language, spare my brother. Do whatever you want with me. Zhou Linsun looked at me incredulously, then let me go and shouted in collapse, get out, just go. I ran out of the hospital room, realizing the bank card was still in my pocket. He didn't take my 300,000 yuan but took my panda pendant. Zhou Linsun dropped the lawsuit. We were classmates, and after he recovered, he returned to class. He couldn't hear the teacher and had to study on his own. I avoided talking to him, dodging him every day. When the monthly test results came out, I was the first to check Zhou Linchen's scores. He scored 0 in the listening portion of English, but he had compensated by scoring higher in other subjects. He still ranked first. I was happy for him. My brother ranked second, and I was ninth. My father demanded that we siblings must always be first. Every time we lost to Zhou Linchen, he would abuse us. We knelt in the study. My father whipped us furiously with a leather whip. You have the best resources. Tutors, extra classes, and yet you still can't beat a poor kid who has to work multiple jobs. Zhou Linchen is deaf, and you still lose to him. Useless idiots. Trash. The whip burned our skin, but my father's insults hurt even more. Xinya released his hatred on Zhou Linchen, committing atrocious acts that ultimately ruined Zhou Linchen's life. Zhou Linchen's mother was a college student who had been abducted to the mountains. Her tongue had been cut off by Zhou Linchen's biological father. Wang Guishan chained her in a room, raped her, and tortured her to the point of mental breakdown. She gave birth to Zhou Linchen. At the age of 10, Zhou Linchen escaped the mountains with his mother. Despite the harsh environment, he bravely protected his mother. Xinyao found Wang Guishan and gave him the address where Zhou Linchen and his mother lived. Wang Guishan led his relatives to the wonton shop to apprehend them. Seeing Wang Guishan, Zhou Linchen's mother panicked and ran into the road, where she was hit and killed by an oncoming truck. The accident happened the day before the college entrance examination. I was in the same examination hall as Zhou Linchen and noticed his empty seat. Wondering why he hadn't come, Xinyao and I both performed well on the exam, and my father held a celebration banquet at a 5-star hotel. I was dressed in a gown and high heels, with my hair styled and makeup done, joyfully embracing my new life as an adult. Shen Huiyan, Zhou Linchen, dressed as a waiter, looked me up and down and said with a smile, "You look beautiful." I was scared of him and ran away, lifting my dress. Something felt off. He couldn't hear. And this hotel wouldn't hire him as a waiter. What was he planning by sneaking in? I looked back. Zhou Linchen was still standing there watching me. I ran up to him and started unbuttoning his jacket to check for weapons. He spread his hands, letting me search him, and laughed. "You act like a good girl, but you're actually quite bold." Zhou Linchen grabbed my arm and pulled me into his embrace. He held me tightly by the back of my neck. "Your brother, he made me deaf and killed my mother. I will come back for revenge." Shen Huiyan, don't be afraid. I didn't come here for revenge today. I came to see you. You've grown up, and you really are very beautiful. My eyes welled up with tears, but I gathered the courage to hug him tightly, knowing he couldn't hear me. I revealed a secret I had kept in my heart. At the opening ceremony in the first year of high school, when you gave a speech representing the new students, I thought you were so handsome from where I sat. Zhou Linchen, I had a crush on you, even though no matter how hard I tried, I could never outperform you, and my father would abuse me for it. I still, secretly liked you for a very long time, but my brother is more important. I didn't stand by your side. I'm sorry, you must hate me. 05. When we met again, it was 10 years later. Zhou Linchen had become a formidable figure in the business world, ruthlessly seeking revenge on Xinyao. Xinyao was never a match for Zhou Linchen in school. Nor was he a match for him in the business world. Xinyao's defeat seemed inevitable. Zhou Linchen drove Xinyao to bankruptcy, leaving him penniless and deeply in debt. With no hope of recovery in this lifetime, I watched as he fell from grace, sinking into despair and degradation, and I, too, was punished for my selfish actions back then, becoming Zhou Linchen's caged canary. At 28, Zhou Linchen was a madman, suffering from severe irritability and unable to sleep through the night. He said he could only sleep while holding me. Thus, he built a lavish villa to imprison me. Zhou Linchen, how is what you're doing any different from what Wang Guishan did to your mother? Zhou Linchen revealed that kind of smile that was uglier than crying. You're right, I was born a rapist's spawn, with filthy, disgusting blood coursing through my veins. Shen Huiyan, but saying this to me hurts more than stabbing me. You might as well just stab me. Overwhelmed by his emotions, he grabbed a fruit knife from the table and placed it in my hands. Then, gripping my hand, he directed it towards his own chest. The tip of the knife pierced his white shirt, and blood flowed out. Don't do this, you're not that bad. Zhou Linchen, stop, I don't want you to get hurt. Eventually, he calmed down and let go of my hand. I was so scared that I was sweating profusely, and the knife fell to the ground. Frantically, I unbuttoned his shirt to check the wound. He was well built, with broad shoulders and a narrow waist, his muscles well defined. He had a beautiful body, but that beautiful body was covered in scars. He had suffered a lot to get to where he was today. He was not happy. A trace of pleasure crossed Zhou Linchen's eyes. Shen Huiyan, this is the second time you've unbuttoned my shirt. He pointed to his cochlear implant. I can hear now. Tell me, what did you say in my arms when we parted all those years ago? My forehead rested against his shoulder. And for some reason, I felt incredibly sad. In this life, the barrier between us was his mother's death. We could never truly be together. Back then I said, I hate you. Of all the people in the world, I hate you the most. Zhou Linchen pulled me into his embrace, holding me so tightly it hurt. I hate you the most too, Shen Huiyan. He buried his face in the nape of my neck. You have to die beside me, or let me die beside you. Let it be me who dies beside you, and you can scatter my ashes. I died soon after, but I didn't get to die beside him. 06, Xinyao took me abroad, thinking I was finally free, but he imprisoned me, abused me, and starved me. The look on Xinyao's face when he hit me was terrifying, more deranged than my domestically abusive father. He grabbed my hair and smashed my head against the aquarium. The aquarium shattered, and I was covered in blood, collapsing onto the glass shards. Watching the fish struggling to death beside me, I felt as helpless as they were. I finally found a way to get back at Zhou Linchen. He wanted to win over Zhou Linchen and had become delusional. It's you, my dear sister. He's been obsessively in love with you since high school. Torturing you will hurt him. Ha ha ha. Xinyao recorded videos of his abuse and sent them to Zhou Linchen, extorting 3 billion from him. Despite risking his financial stability, Zhou Linchen gathered the money. After getting the money, Xinyao turned around and handed me over to a group of vagrants to torment. I was tortured to death. Zhou Linchen, whom I despised, crossed oceans to kill all those who had harmed me, and beheaded Xinyao. Covered in blood, Zhou Linchen cradled my corpse, covering my eyes. He cried. The man who was beaten deaf by Xinyao, who had never cried before, wept inconsolably. Ah, 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 ah. Zhou Linchen let out an inhuman roar. In the end, he said, Shen Huiyan, don't be afraid, I'm here to take you home. The memories abruptly stopped. 07, having been reborn, I successfully prevented the incident where Zhou Linchen was deafened by Xinyao. The next thing I needed to do was to stop his mother's death. I visited Zhou Linchen's family wonton shop again, which required passing through a narrow alley. In the alley, there were 3 dubious-looking young men. Look, a real beauty. She has a great figure, such a slim waist, and such fair skin. They eyed me with ill intentions and whistled at me. They reminded me of the vagrants who raped me in my previous life, the foul and sticky bodily fluids, the brutal beatings, the tearing pain. I didn't want to die, but no one came to save me. I had a stress reaction, my breathing became rapid, and my body stiffened. Beauty, let's exchange WeChat contacts. I clenched my fists and refused. No, I won't add you, looking down on us. We really should have some fun with you. What fun? Had it with me. Zhou Linchen suddenly appeared, standing in front of me. His broad shoulders shielded me completely, giving me a sense of security. The young men seemed to be afraid of him. Chen, is she your girl? Sorry for offending your lady. Hello, ma'am, get lost. Alright, we're going. They ran off. Zhou Linchen still hadn't turned around. I rushed over and hugged him tightly from behind, burying my face in his back. His body stiffened, immobile. I trembled, tears flowing uncontrollably. Shen Huiyan, don't be afraid, I'm here. Shall I bring them back and beat them up in front of you? Next time you see them, help me beat them up, okay? Zhou Linchen anxiously asked, can you stop crying then? Let me cry for 5 more minutes, okay, but once the tears started, it was hard to stop them. I hugged him and cried for 5 minutes, and then another 5 minutes. It seemed I needed to turn all the grievances of my past life into tears. I only stopped when his back was soaked. I want to eat your family's wontons. Alright, have 2 bowls. My tears turned into laughter. It turned out he was really afraid of seeing me cry. Except when I cried in bed. 08, Zhou Linchen's mother, Sun Lan, greeted me with a gentle smile. Hearing that I wanted wontons, she sent Zhou Linchen off to buy groceries with a note of discontent. Rarely do classmates visit our home. Buy good ingredients to treat them. This boy is cold on the outside but dull on the inside. No wonder he has no friends. Auntie's note made me laugh. I went grocery shopping with Zhou Linchen. My mom is just like anyone else as long as she's not agitated. Don't be scared of her. I'm not. Your mom is fun. I like her. He suddenly asked, is it your dad who abuses you? Zhou Linchen's chest heaved as he spoke angrily. Don't just stand there and take it next time. If he hits you again, make a scene. Make it so loud that all the relatives know. Call the police. contact the Women's Federation, let him understand that there's a price to pay for hitting you. I smiled at him. Yeah, next time I'll fight back. His anger intensified. How can Xinyao just flip between white and black? You're so gentle and adorable. Why would he hit you? All the reasons are just excuses for him to exercise violence, to feel the taste of power through it. He's addicted to the violence. If he doesn't change his ways, just call me and I'll beat him up. I stepped on Zhou Linchen's shadow, basking in the warm spring sunlight. The day I died was too cold. I loved basking in the sun. I smiled and replied, all right. Zhou Linchen was truly skilled at getting things done, his hands full of plastic bags. He wouldn't let me carry anything and bought me a stick of candied hawthorn to enjoy slowly. He tied on an apron and bustled around the kitchen, managing 2 pots at once, and within half an hour, he had prepared 5 dishes and a soup. Sun Lan handed me a note. He can do everything, loves to take charge and manage everything. I knew. He had a strong desire to control. When I was his canary, my clothes, jewelry, bags, and watches were all personally bought and matched by him. The 3 of us sat down to eat together. I realized that he had cooked all my favorite dishes. Had he noticed what I liked when I ate in the cafeteria? A crush is one person's chaos. In our past life, it was actually a mutual crush. If not for some misunderstandings, could our ending have been different? 09. Returning to campus once again. At this time in my past life, the class was reshuffling seats, and I was supposed to sit next to Zhou Linchen, but I didn't want to sit with him. So I went to the teacher to change seats. This time, I happily sat next to Zhou Linchen. I smiled at him, eyes curving in delight. Deskmate, good morning. Zhou Linchen looked at me with clear eyes and said, good morning. Less than a minute after I sat down, students from other classes came to give me gifts. Today was my 18th birthday. I don't accept gifts, nor letters. Thank you. I politely smiled, rejecting each one. Friends gathered around me, laughing and joking. Our Yan Yan truly deserves to be the school beauty. Every year so many people come to give gifts on her birthday. This is the annual confession day, one of the honors for the boys, to have chased the school beauty. Ha ha ha, sounds like you're just sour. They were my best friends during high school. After graduation, we went our separate ways and seldom kept in touch. Seeing the girls from my memories once again, I was very happy and started horsing around with them. The roughhousing escalated until the tomboy among them pushed me hard, sending me crashing into Zhou Linchen. Zhou Linchen caught me, and I ended up sitting on his lap. Surprisingly, he looked shocked. His arms wrapped around my waist, his pupils dilated. I was stunned. I'm hard. I want you. Inappropriately. I recalled he had said this in a past life. I immediately stood up, my cheeks burning, and sat back down in my seat. I didn't catch a word of what my friends were joking about. Zhou Linchen kept his head down, writing on his test paper, not looking at me again, but my attention was always on him. He was in my peripheral vision. Xinyao had rented out a bar for his birthday, inviting many friends. I used 300,000 yuan of my New Year's money to buy Xinyao a watch. The watch was modified, equipped with a listening device, although in the last life, Wang Guishan only approached Zhou Linchen and his mother the day before the college entrance examination. I couldn't be sure what would happen this time around. I needed to monitor Xinyao, to keep tabs on when he would meet Wang Guishan. Bro, this is my gift for your coming of age. I spent all my savings on it. I want you to wear it every day. Xinyao immediately put on the watch, patted my head, and smiled indulgently. All right, everyone cheered. True twins, such a strong bond. I wish I had a sister like Huiyan, so soft and sweet, so kind and considerate. Xinyao put his arm around my shoulder. You guys can't envy this. Yan Yan is mine. At that moment, Zhou Linchen, dressed as a waiter, came to serve drinks. He saw Xinyao's hand on my shoulder, his eyes darkening. Xinyao had chosen this location on purpose. He wanted to humiliate Zhou Linchen. Zhou Linchen, is that you? How much do you earn per hour working here? Zhou Linchen didn't answer. The boy next to him quickly said, Mr. Shen, we earn 25 yuan an hour. Xinyao's close friends burst into sharp laughter. Ha ha ha, 25. That's not even enough to buy me a pack of cigarettes. Zhou Linchen, here's 1,000 yuan. Finish this bottle of foreign wine, wish us a happy birthday, and then you can leave. I thought Zhou Linchen would refuse. He picked up the bottle and drank. I tried to stop him, but Xinyao grabbed my arm. Sister, I didn't force him. He's just desperately trying to earn that 1,000 yuan. After Zhou Linchen finished the drink, he looked at me and said, Shen Huiyan, happy birthday, thank you. After Zhou Linchen left, Xinyao immediately went outside to make a phone call. Something felt off, so I put on my earphones to listen in on his call. Zhou Linchen is drunk, ambush him in the alley, he has to pass on his way home. Take him down for me. I immediately left the bar through the back door and caught up with Zhou Linson. Zhou Linson, Xin Yao has hired thugs to beat you up. Zhou Linson, resembling his mother, had a beautiful face, a young man with broad shoulders, slender waist, long legs, dressed in black, his skin very pale. No matter where he stood, he was strikingly conspicuous. The night was truly beautiful. Zhou Linson's eyes were slightly blurred from the alcohol, but when he looked at me, his gaze was always intense. He never concealed his desires. Are you drunk? Just moments ago, Zhou Linson was able to walk, but suddenly, he toppled towards me. I immediately caught him, and we embraced tightly. Yes, I'm drunk. He was so tall that holding him was a bit of a struggle. Why did you drink that bottle of wine? If I hadn't, Xin Yao would have been relentless. I didn't want to spoil your birthday. What about my birthday present? Zhou Linson's chin rested on my shoulder, his warm breath tickling my sensitive ear. You lack nothing material. I couldn't give you anything better. I compiled a set of review materials and predictions based on previous year's college entrance exam papers and sent them to your email. I laughed. Actually, for a senior high student like me, this gift was the most practical. Thank you, top student, for sharing your secret techniques with me. Zhou Linson patted the back of my head. I could sense his mood was low. In the future, there will be better gifts. I booked a room for Zhou Linson. He was so drunk he could barely walk. I had no choice but to help him to his room, but he pulled me down onto the bed with him. I collapsed on top of him. The room came alive. This hormonally charged high school boy. Don't move. Just stay still. Okay. I didn't dare move. Zhou Linson lay there, breathing with his neck arched, his Adam's apple bobbing, and his skin flushed red below his collarbone. His body was burning hot. Miraculously, Zhou Linson soon fell asleep, clutching my wrist tightly. I tried to pry his fingers open without success, probably because I had just been reborn. I felt very sleepy. I set an alarm on my phone, planning to sleep for an hour before leaving. When I opened my eyes, Zhou Linson was awake. He sat up in bed, watching me for who knows how long, showing no signs of drunkenness. I need to go home now. Suddenly, I felt a warm flow below. My period had started. The flow was especially heavy on the first day. When I got up, I saw a blood stain about 5 centimeters in diameter on the white bedsheet. A young boy and girl in a room, with a blood-stained sheet. If seen by a third person, it would be hard to explain. I ordered some sanitary pads and underwear, and plucking up courage, I said, I'll leave in a bit. Zhou Linson awkwardly replied, his face suspiciously red. Fidgeting with the panda pendant on my bag, I tried to make conversation. Have you finished your homework? Yeah, it's done. I have a physics problem I can't solve. Can you explain it to me? Sure. So, we sat on the large hotel bed, purely immersed in the ocean of knowledge. His approach to solving problems was simple and clear, and his handwriting was beautiful. Zhou Linson was the kind of person with high intelligence, a natural talent who could succeed at anything. Did you understand? Yes. I had never been so eager to learn. And I asked him to explain another math problem to me. I was so embarrassed I could curl my toes into the floorboards. Zhou Linson's mouth curled into a smile. He was laughing secretly. Finally, my takeout has arrived. After changing my sanitary pad, I stuffed my dirty underwear into my bag. I'm leaving. You can find a hotel to change the sheets. It's okay. Don't worry about it. He asked. Does your stomach hurt during your period? It hurts for the first 2 days. Zhou Linson took off his coat and tied it around my waist, saying, I'll remember that. Why would he remember that? Zhou Linson insisted on taking me home and watched me enter the door before he left. The next day during gym class, I sat in the classroom with headphones on, working on a paper. I overheard a conversation between Xin Yao and Zhang Xiaoyun. Today Zhou Linson is handling the equipment. You follow him to the equipment room. Once inside, take off your clothes and hug him. Shouting harassment. Our school has only one slot for the national physics competition. The school recommended Zhou Linson. Xin Yao, afraid of angering his dad, lied that the school had recommended him. In a past life, Zhou Linson's ears were injured, and he had to rest at home for a month. Xin Yao took his place in the competition. In this life, Zhou Linson was not hurt. Recently, Xin Yao has been causing trouble for Zhou Linson, trying to snatch the physics competition slot. Zhang Xiaoyun was unwilling. I can't do that. There were rustling sounds. Xin Yao took off his clothes. Brother Yao. Zhang Xiaoyun saw the wounds on his back and cried in pity. If Zhou Linson stays at Jialan High School, no matter how hard I try, I'll always be second. My dad's punishments are getting harsher. I can't take it anymore. Xiaoyun, save me. Those words were too impactful. The girl thought she was the boy's salvation and was willing to sacrifice herself to save him. Okay. I ran to the equipment room, and no one was there yet. I heard someone coming in and hid behind a shelf. As soon as Zhang Xiaoyun entered, she took off her top and went to hug Zhou Linsun. Zhou Linsun pushed her away immediately. She covered her chest and was about to shout. I rushed over and covered her mouth. The three of us looked at each other, creating an awkward scene. Sister, I've been here all along, you like my brother. So what's this about attacking Zhou Linsun? Zhang Xiaoyun put her clothes back on and started crying. I pretended to be naive and said, my dad still wants to arrange a marriage with your family. Since you like Zhou Linsun, I'll tell my dad to drop the idea. No, I like brother Yao. Then what is this? Zhang Xiaoyun grabbed my hand and said, Yen Yen, don't ask any more. Can you keep this secret for me? I won't do this again. My goal was to block Shen Yao's move of using Zhang Xiaoyun to slander Zhou Linsun. Okay, Zhang Xiaoyun left. In the equipment room, it was just me and Zhou Linsun left. It was your brother who put her up to this, mentioning Shen Yao. He showed a disgusted expression. This is the third time you've saved me. You siblings are strange. You have such a good relationship, yet one wants to harm me and the other wants to save me. Zhou Linsun moved closer to me, and I stepped back. He reached out and held the back of my neck, leaned in close, and whispered in my ear, if it had been you seducing me just now, I really would have committed a crime. Bang, Shen Yao burst in with the head teacher. I witnessed the scene unfold. From their perspective, it looked like a kiss stolen in passing. Old Hu, our stern and impartial director of discipline, had a zeal for cracking down on early romances. Having finally caught someone red-handed, he was visibly excited. Zhou Linsun, Shen Huiyan, what are you two doing? Separate immediately. There I was, standing with Zhou Linsun at the classroom door as punishment. Aren't those two the top students? Why are they being punished? I heard they were caught dating early. It's just like a top student to win over the school beauty. Ah, they are such a perfect match. I'm totally shipping them. Frustration filled my mind as Old Hu wouldn't hear my explanations. I felt more wronged than the famous wronged heroine Dou Yi. Zhou Linsun leaned against the wall, relaxed and cheerful. This scandal is all your fault. Yeah, my bad. With a gloomy face, I said, I've always been the good girl, the exemplary student. Now, not only am I punished by standing, but I also have to write a self-criticism, even more embarrassing. I'll have to read it in front of the whole school during the Monday flag-raising ceremony. Woe is me, since the fault is yours. Zhou Linsun, you should write the self-criticism for me. Alright, Zhou Linsun smiled at me. Shen Huiyan, you're finally back to your lively self. You've been so preoccupied lately, it's had me concerned. I was taken aback. I hadn't expected him to notice something was off. It's nothing. You're overthinking it. That's good to hear. During the flag-raising ceremony, I went up to read the self-criticism, trusting in the academic achiever's writing and resisting the self-criticism itself. I hadn't read it beforehand. I am Shen Huiyan from Class 1, Senior Year. Early romance is defined as romantic relationships formed by individuals under 18. I turned 18 last Thursday, and director who caught us on Friday. Therefore, I am not involved in an early romance. Laughter spread through the crowd below. The school beauty is clever indeed, right? We're all adults here. If we want to kiss, we'll kiss. Zhou Linsun had crafted a self-criticism that, while seemingly innocuous at first glance, could provoke thought and stir imaginations. Displaying a knack for creating viral content, I stumbled through the reading and glared at Zhou Linsun as I stepped down. He simply looked up at me, completely unapologetic. Then it was Zhou Linsun's turn to read his self-criticism. I am Zhou Linsun from Class 1, Senior Year. Shen Huiyan and I are not in an early romance because I haven't successfully pursued her yet. After these words, he stepped down. The students erupted in cheers. The scholar is awesome. Go for it, scholar. We support you. I face-bombed. Zhou Linsun at 18 was quite the character. After the ceremony, Shen Yao dragged me to the rooftop. Sis, can you ask Zhou Linsun to give me his spot in the physics competition? Why would he listen to me? Just ask, he'll agree. Shen Yao, I can't do that. Shen Yao grabbed my shoulders, his expression almost fierce. I told Dad I'm joining the physics competition. He's already bragging about it to relatives. And I will definitely win an award in the physics competition and get recommended for admission to Beijing University. If he finds out I lied to him, he'll kill me. Yen Yen, help your brother out. I placated him non-committally, saying, okay, I'll talk to him, but if he doesn't agree, there's nothing I can do. Shen Yao left, satisfied. Zhou Linsun stepped out from behind the wall and looked at me. I froze. He had heard everything. Zhou Linsun, why are you looking at me with such anticipation, waiting for you to ask for my help? Your brother was right. Just say the word, and I'll agree to anything. I demanded boldly. I want you to give me the first place trophy. Zhou Linsun smiled happily. his eyes curving into crescents. Okay, how could Zhou Linchen refuse you? When it comes to his future, he wouldn't just listen to me. Frustrated that his initial plan didn't work, Shen Yao concocted another scheme that very day. Aside from running a wonton shop, Sun Lan occasionally collected recyclables at the school. During lunch break, as I was about to doze off with headphones on, someone approached me. Master Shen, Zhou Linchen's mother has arrived. You must provoke him, make him hit you. Then have your parents come and make a scene at the school to sabotage his competition eligibility. Don't worry, Master Shen, we'll handle it beautifully. Zhou Linchen was not in the classroom. As I walked out, I sent him a message. Your mom is at school. Shen Yao has asked Wu Qingxiang and the others to trouble her. A crowd had gathered by the pond. The crazy lady fell into the water. I pushed through the crowd and rushed over. Wu Qingxiang threw Sun Lan's money pouch into the water, scattering coins all over. As Sun Lan went into the water to retrieve her money, she floundered. She couldn't swim. Wu Qingxiang threw stones into the water, laughing. Hey, can't get up, can you? Shen Yao stood with his arms crossed, watching from above with a malicious smile. I jumped into the water. Auntie, don't be afraid, I'll get you out. The pond wasn't deep, but the shock had made Sun Lan panic. She was uncooperative and scratched my neck. The onlooking students asked, Shen Yao, aren't you going to save your sister? Shen Yao's face darkened, and with no other option, he jumped into the water. Soon after, Zhou Linchen rushed over and also jumped in. Shen Yao pulled me out of the water. Zhou Linchen rescued his mother. Once on shore, Zhou Linchen, furious, kicked Wu Qingxiang back into the water. Then, grabbing Shen Yao by the collar, his eyes filled with rage, his fist ready to strike, Shen Yao spread his hands calmly, waiting for Zhou Linchen to hit him. Zhou Linchen, no fighting. My period made me feel awful soaking in the water. My neck was burning painfully, the skin broken and bleeding. My body trembled uncontrollably. Zhou Linchen let go of Shen Yao and supported me. I leaned against him, my hand gently stroking his chest, calming his rage. Take your mom home first. To avoid catching a cold, Sun Lan was terrified, screaming in shock and hard to calm down. Her classmates pointed and whispered about her. Zhou Linchen's mom has a mental illness. It's scary. With red eyes, Zhou Linchen gave me a deep look and left with his mother. Shen Yao took me to the hospital. Wrapped in a blanket, I felt a chill seeping through my body. Bored, Shen Yao sat next to me and took off his watch. The watch got water in it. I'll have the driver take it to Master Chen's shop for repairs. What bad timing for the watch to break. Would Master Chen find the listening device? Brother, let me take it for repair. You should rest. Just lie down. A part of me hoped he would stop bothering Zhou Linchen. After my rebirth, I had thought about guiding Shen Yao onto the right path. It wasn't me who had Wu Qingxiang bully his mother. How could you think so low of me? Shen Yao said, still playing the role of a good student in front of me. I suddenly saw through his act. In my past life, he had tortured me to get back at Zhou Linchen, even allowing a homeless man to assault me. He was inherently evil, beyond redemption. If it wasn't you, that's a relief, little sister. He's so poor, with a mute and insane mother, and dares to pursue you in public. He's just a toad lusting after a swan. Don't be foolish. Being with him would turn you from a rich young lady to a poor, haggard woman. I nonchalantly replied, I know, I won't like him. Shen Yao smiled and patted my head. Good girl. That's when I noticed Zhou Linchen standing at the door of the hospital room. Shen Yao, aware of his presence, lifted his chin in triumph and said, you heard her. My sister won't like you. You're not welcome here. Now leave. Zhou Linchen didn't argue with Shen Yao. He just turned and walked away. I thought he wouldn't come back. Late at night, feeling someone watching me, I woke up. Zhou Linchen was sitting by my bed. Shen Huiyan, does the scratch on your neck hurt? It doesn't hurt. I could see he was nearly overwhelmed with guilt. I'm sorry, my mom didn't mean to do it. My mom, she was a college student from the city, but she was kidnapped to the mountains during her freshman summer. The man who bought her, Wang Guishan, was a 42-year-old lazy man who raped her and had me. That place was poor, and the people were barbaric, treating women like animals. I can stand a hard life, but I couldn't stand him beating and raping my mom. At 10, I ran away with my mom. I reported him. Wang Guishan was sentenced to 8 years for rape and grievous bodily harm. So this year, Wang Guishan would be released. 8 years have passed, and my mom still lives in fear, afraid of being taken back. She was diagnosed with a mental illness and would become disturbed when triggered. I already knew this from my previous life. Hearing him say it again was still heartbreaking. Zhou Linchen laughed self-deprecatingly. I am the seed of a rapist, carrying disgusting blood. I never thought of being with you. You are as beautiful as a sickly sweet dream, one I dared not touch. I sat up. Zhou Linchen, come closer to me. Zhou Linchen moved closer. I embraced him, stroking his back, comforting him. Zhou Linchen, I was being sarcastic when I spoke to my brother. You are wonderful. Don't feel inferior. How about we both apply to Beijing University? I promised him a future. Zhou Linchen hugged me tight, his body trembling slightly. Okay. The next day, I went to Master Chen's watch shop. Xinyao was already there waiting for me. In front of him were disassembled watch parts. He held up a bug and asked, Sister, what is this? You know exactly what it is. Xinyao flew into a rage and grabbed my throat. I always found it strange, why you happened to show up every time I dealt with him. I cherished the birthday gift you gave me, wearing it every day, and yet you betray me for a stranger. Shen Huiyan, we're twins. We should be the closest people in this world. How could you treat me like this? I heard my neck crack. He really wanted to kill me. Stop acting. You've always been deceiving me, pretending to be good. You have no humanity. Xinyao let go of me, his mouth twisting into a clownish grin. You caught me, sister. Growing up in a family like ours, turning out like me is normal. Why should you be untainted, trying to be a good person? Our relationship was irreparably damaged. Xinyao threw down the bug and crushed it underfoot. Don't interfere with these little tricks anymore, or I'll bully you too. I clutched my throat. Without the bug, I wouldn't know when he would bring Wang Guishan to deliver a fatal blow to Zhou Linchen. Hopefully, this time, it would still happen the day before the college entrance exam. That way, it would still be under my control. The results of the latest monthly test were out. Zhou Linchen ranked first, Xinyao was second, and my grades dropped to 76th in the class. That was normal. I had graduated over a decade ago, and I had mostly forgotten my high school knowledge. My current grades were still decent, thanks to a solid foundation and the martial arts secrets Zhou Linchen sent me. Lately, I had been studying till midnight, confident in regaining my original strength before the college entrance exam. Seeing my grades, Zhou Linchen was the most anxious. He repeatedly reviewed my papers for each subject, his brows furrowed. This isn't your level. You've indeed been off lately. Holding his nearly perfect papers, I said, the top student remains strong as ever. Zhou Linchen seriously replied, yes, your strength has arrived. Actually, spending time with him, you'd find he's not cold at all, but quite humorous. He picked up a pen and started to devise a study plan for my incorrect answers. Actually, I too was once a top student. I have my own study plan. Growing up in a love-deprived family, my mental health was never really in good shape. He has a strong desire to control, and I like being controlled. Actually, we are a perfect match. I noticed his suitcase at the back of the classroom and asked, are you going to the city by the sea for a competition? Yes, I need to attend a 2-week intensive training camp, and I have to hand in my phone, so I won't be able to contact you. Good luck. I'll be waiting for my first place trophy. Zhou Linchen handed me a study schedule. Shen Huiyan, you should also work hard and study well. I'll check your progress when I get back. Yes, sir. In the afternoon, Zhou Linchen left. During his absence, something happened. After school, Xinyao and I rode home together. Little sister, you did terribly on this exam. Dad is going to be very angry, despite Xinyao's efforts to hide it. I could see the schadenfreude and delight in his eyes. He knew that today, all of Dad's anger would be focused solely on me. When I got home, my dad, Xin Jianting, hadn't returned yet. I turned on my phone to livestream and placed it in the study. I regularly upload violin videos on this account and have already amassed 200,000 followers. Panda Ross finally started the livestream. Are you playing the violin today? Today, I'm not playing the violin. I'm going to show you my dad. Xin Jianting came home. He stormed into the study, yanking off his tie and pointing at me with a fierce expression. Kneel down. I knelt on the ground. Xin Jianting took out a whip and lashed me repeatedly. What rules did I set for you? If I don't come first, I get beaten. But throughout high school, in every single test, midterm, and final, you've never beaten Zhou Linchen. Not once. It's always Zhou Linchen who comes first. I've beaten you so many times. How come you never improve? This time, you even dropped from the top 10 to 76th. Xin Jianting whipped me furiously. I heard you want to date Zhou Linchen. You're worse than a prostitute. At least they know how to sell themselves for a good price. If you're longing for a man, don't waste it on that poor boy. My investors like you, sleeping with them could actually bring me value. Suddenly, I grabbed the whip. Even before high school, you found all sorts of reasons to abuse me. When I was 5, I accidentally spilled some food, and you made me kneel and lick it clean. At 8, because I didn't play the violin well, you kicked me and broke one of my ribs. From childhood, you've masked countless instances of domestic violence as discipline for my own good. I used to think all fathers were like this, but later, I realized they're not. The number of viewers in the livestream room surged as the audience flooded the chat. Stop hitting her. The blood on Panda's back. It must hurt so much. Sob 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 sob. Never imagined Panda Ross's dad would be an abuser. Poor Ross, worse than a beast, unfit to be a father. Who is this man? Expose him and let him face social death. Found him. The vice president of Dingzuan Group, Shin Jianting. A corporate executive, a wolf in sheep's clothing. Sisters, let's go rant on his company's official account. I'll start. I've called the police. I was crying as I watched it, feeling so sorry for the young lady. I smiled at him fearlessly and declared, I'm going to reveal your true face to everyone. If you hit me, you will pay a heavy price. Soon after, the police knocked on the door. Only then did Shin Jianting realize that his phone was live streaming. He collapsed to the ground. Trembling like a coward, I saw myself at different ages, 5, 8, 18, all thanking the 28-year-old me. This time, I became my own hero, protecting myself. Due to my poor exam results, Shin Jianting's act of whipping me was only punished by a few days of detention. That's why I started the live stream. Destroying his reputation was the best punishment for such a hypocrite. The incident quickly fermented online, becoming a hot news topic, with the whole internet condemning him. He was branded as an abuser. Dingzuan Group swiftly issued a notice, relieving him of his vice presidential duties. I applied for a personal protection order. Shin Jianting could no longer come near me. My revenge against Shin Jianting ends here, because I know that in a couple of years, he will suddenly die of a heart attack. I didn't remind him to take precautions early, waiting for death to judge him. I had planned to stay in the dormitory, but after Sun Lan learned about my situation online, she took me back home to take care of me. I removed my shirt and lay on the bed while Sun Lan applied medicine to my back. I remembered in my past life, the first time Zhou Linchen saw the burn scars from cigarettes and whip marks on my body, he angrily asked, who did this? Back then, I resented him for imprisoning me and provoked him by saying I belonged to the BDSM community, and these were marks left by other men as part of their kinks. That drove him mad. I can satisfy you, and from now on, you can only play with me. Every time, he would bite over my scars, marking them with his own. I was really reaping what I sowed, letting him believe I liked it rough. Sun Lan, seeing the scars on my back, cried with reddened eyes. My mother died in childbirth, and I never experienced maternal love. Sun Lan was very gentle, and I felt maternal love with her. Thinking of her ordeal, I wanted to try and open her heart. Auntie, I used to think that Shin Jianting was a high authority, an unbeatable tyrant. Out of fear, I cowardly hid in my shell, enduring his abuse. But this was wrong. The more submissive and weak I was, the more he intensified his abuse. It was only when I fought back that I realized he was even more cowardly and vulnerable than me. I took Sun Lan's hand as I brought up that name, Wang Guishan. Hearing his name, Sun Lan started shaking, her eyes filled with fear. He's just a 60-year-old man now. What's there to be afraid of? You need dough every day. Your hands are stronger than his. We can fight back and get revenge. Don't be afraid. You can overcome him too. Tears rolling down, Sun Lan wrote on a piece of paper, I can defeat him. I am not afraid. Her handwriting soaked through the paper. Her gaze was resolute and brave. I gave her a hug, excitedly saying, yes, you can. The competition ended, just as Zhou Linchen got hold of his phone. He learned about my situation. Call me right now. His voice was choked with sobs. Shen Huiyan, are you alright? Yes, I'm fine. Your mom has taken good care of me. I've even gained weight. Over these 3 years, have you hated me? Every time you were beaten, it was because of me. Zhou Linchen, it's not your fault. If he wanted to hit me, he'd always find a new reason. It's been like this since I was little. I really wish I could have whisked you away when you were young. I laughed and said, then why don't you raise me all over again? Alright, Shen Huiyan, I'll work hard to become wealthy, and give you all the best things. I don't lack material things. What I lack is love. So Zhou Linchen, come and love me. My words left Zhou Linchen bewildered, and he was eager to return. After school, I went to the wonton shop. Today, Sun Lan wasn't doing business. She had bought a lot of groceries, waiting for her son to come home. Sun Lan was busy in the kitchen. While I was doing my schoolwork, suddenly, I saw Shin Yao standing outside the door. I approached him, cautious. What are you doing here? Shin Yao's face was very pale. He rolled up his sleeves to show me, his skin torn and flesh exposed. Not a spot was intact. The injuries hidden under his clothes were likely even worse. After you left, Shin Jianting beat me even more ruthlessly, but I won't leave. I've endured for so many years. I must get all of Shin Jianting's property and resources. I coldly said, that is your choice. But my hatred, it eventually needs an outlet. Zhou Linchen is coming back today. If he returns and finds out that his rapist father has taken his mother away, he won't be so happy and proud, right? Shen Yao is a devil, unlike before. Today Shen Yao chose to ruin Zhou Linchen's life. At that moment, a sly old man with a bunch of people barged into the wonton shop. The old man was Wang Guishan. He shamelessly declared, "Wife, I've come to take you home." I pulled out my phone to call the police and blocked them, saying, "Aunt Lan is not your wife. I've already called the police. You better leave right away." They knocked my phone away. Wang Guishan's relatives saw me and said, "Wow, this girl is pretty. Let's take her too, to be my wife." Ha ha ha, you are really a bunch of savages. I picked up a stool and threw it at them. They were too many and too strong. I was seized by Wang Guishan's relatives. Wang Guishan went straight into the kitchen. Ah! 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 Screams came from the kitchen. It was Wang Guishan screaming. Sun Lan, holding a bloody kitchen knife, charged out of the kitchen. The previously fierce villagers immediately scattered like birds and beasts. Sun Lan, in a frenzy, chased them with a knife. Seeing Shen Yao, perhaps remembering he had bullied Zhou Linchen, she chased him with a knife. Shen Yao's face drastically changed, and in panic, he ran blindly across the street. Suddenly, Shen Yao was hit and killed by an oncoming truck. Sun Lan came to her senses, dropped the knife, and collapsed to the ground. I went over to embrace her. Looking at the gruesome scene on the road, my mind was a complete blank, devoid of sorrow, joy, love, or hatred. I just felt numbness in my limbs, and it was incredibly cold. At that moment, someone enveloped Sun Lan and me in a warm, strong embrace. "Zhou Linchen, you're back." He held us tight, his forehead pressed against mine. "Yes, I'm back." Sun Lan had killed Wang Guishan. She had a psychiatric diagnosis and was having an episode at the time, so she was not held legally responsible. The villagers, fearing she might attack someone during another episode, dared not show up around her. Shen Yao crossed the street and died in a traffic accident, bearing the fate Sun Lan had in her previous life. Zhou Linchen rented a new apartment. At night, we lay face to face, holding hands. "I want to see your body." His words were devoid of worldly desire. He just wanted to see the scars on my body. In front of him, I took off my clothes. Zhou Linchen's calloused fingers gently traced the old wounds on my back. "Are they ugly?" "Not at all, you are beautiful." Zhou Linchen bowed his head like the most devout believer, and kissed those scars. My eyelashes trembled lightly. In my previous life, I was a wronged ghost. Only now did I feel that my soul had found peace. The harsh winter had passed, and I was reborn in the spring. Suddenly, it was the day of the college entrance exam. Zhou Linchen, having won first place in a physics competition, was admitted to Beijing University without needing to take the entrance exams. I was more nervous than I was about my own exams. He repeatedly checked my admission ticket and my stationery. "Fill in the answer sheet after the multiple choice questions. I know, if you encounter a question you can't solve, don't panic, just move on to the next one." "Okay, Shen Huiyan, you are so strong now. Getting into Beijing University will be no problem. Don't be nervous. Have confidence in yourself." He really was a fatherly boyfriend, always worrying. After the last exam, I felt I had done very well. I walked out of the exam room light-footedly, when Zhang Xiaoyun stopped me. After Shen Yao's death, she was the most heartbroken. "A Yao brother told me you spied on him and helped outsiders stab him in the back. He was very hurt. If he hadn't gone to see you, he wouldn't have been hit by a car." Zhang Xiaoyun seemed off, so I turned to leave. She grabbed my wrist tightly, her grip like a vice, and I couldn't break free. "You were born together. You should die together, Shen Huiyan. Go down and accompany him." With force, Zhang Xiaoyun pushed me from the 5th-floor corridor. My body passed through a large tree and fell to the ground. I lay there, blood pouring from my mouth, every limb ached, my consciousness gradually fading. In this life, I had stopped Shen Yao from deafening Zhou Linchen. I fought back against an abusive father. The course of events changed Aunt Lan's fate from being killed by a car. It triggered a butterfly effect. Shen Yao died. A just retribution for his wrongdoings. Yet, I still harbored an unfulfilled wish. I wanted to experience a normal romance with Zhou Linchen. I didn't want to die. "Zhou Linchen, save me." In the hospital ward, I woke up from a coma. Zhou Linchen was holding my hand, asleep at the side of my bed. I hadn't died. Truly, I was fortunate. A large tree had broken my fall, saving my life. I squeezed Zhou Linchen's hand, and he woke up immediately. His face was unshaven, his eyes red with bloodshot. "Zhou Linchen, how did you become so unattractive?" He looked at me, stunned and silent. "Just kidding, you've got that rugged charm, which is quite handsome." How long was I unconscious? Sev, Zhou Linchen's voice was hoarse. He cleared his throat, and after a long pause, he managed to say, 7 days. Are my injuries severe? Very, multiple fractures and breaks throughout the body. I smiled at him reassuringly. It's okay, I'll get better. Zhou Linchen held my hand. Tears streaming down his face, he cried just as heartbreakingly as when I died in my past life. Zhou Linchen, I have no home left. Once I'm better, take me home with you. He planted a deep, affectionate kiss on my forehead. Okay, in this life, fate ultimately sheltered us. The love unspoken in our past life continued in this one. Epilogue. 10 years later, Zhou Linchen, as in the previous life, became a rising star in the business world, and I became a successful lawyer. In my spare time, I used social media to educate on the law and provided legal aid to netizens. My relationship with Zhou Linchen was sweet. I was a winner in both my career and love life, but recently, our relationship faced a major crisis. A client's boss took an interest in me. His name was Fu Zhuiyuan, a prince of the capital's elite circles. It was also my fault. I hadn't realized he was pursuing me. One Sunday, I was enjoying a lazy morning in bed with Zhou Linchen. Suddenly, Fu Zhuiyuan called me, asking to discuss a case about his company. Zhou Linchen, with his face against my chest and his hands mischievously at work, grumpily said, "Who calls someone to talk business on a weekend? For work, honey." Zhou Linchen clicked his tongue and got up with me. He drove me there. Fu Zhuiyuan had chosen his restaurant to discuss the matter. As soon as I entered, I realized it was a setup. The floor was covered with rose petals and heart-shaped candles lit the space. Fu Zhuiyuan approached me with a bouquet of roses. "Yan Yan, I like you. Would you be my girlfriend?" Zhou Linchen couldn't help but laugh. "Yan Yan." I immediately grabbed Zhou Linchen's hand, our fingers tightly interlaced. "I already have a boyfriend, and we've been deeply in love for 10 years. Fu Zhuiyuan, ever so provocative, eyed Zhou Linchen and challenged. "I know, but dating for 10 years without marriage often means it won't happen. I'm younger and richer than him. It would be a wise choice to leave him for me." Zhou Linchen's fists clenched. If not for my hold on him, he would have charged at Fu Zhuiyuan already. I soothed Zhou Linchen by patting his chest. "To Mr. Fu," I said, "are you out of your mind?" I pulled Zhou Linchen away and we left. Zhou Linchen was still enveloped in a dreadful gloom until he got home. I squatted in front of him, smiling, and said, "Don't be mad. I had no idea he was going to pull such a stunt. I'm innocent here." Shen Huiyan. "You've been with me for 10 years. Are you tired of me?" I was utterly baffled. "You are tired of me. Don't think I don't browse the internet. These days, all the girls like guys under 25. I'm 28 this year, so you probably want someone younger and more energetic." "Don't be ridiculous. You're the one with too much energy. I always find it exhausting. Are you not satisfied? Isn't it comfortable?" I coughed awkwardly, treading carefully. "We're arguing now, right? Can you slow down the car? I'm getting carsick." Zhou Linchen became furious. "Take this seriously. Stop joking around. You're so charming and good-looking. The number of men interested in you will only increase." I hooked his finger with my pinky, knowing that he didn't distrust me, but was just making an excuse because he was so eager to marry me. It was I who didn't want to marry too early, so he was just matching my pace. "Mr. Zhou thinks about marriage every day." Now, I was finally ready. "Zhou Linchen, let's get married." The anger on Zhou Linchen's face instantly vanished, replaced by an excessively radiant smile. He grabbed my hand and led me away. "Where are we going?" "To pick a wedding dress." He was truly in a hurry.